Sports Tonight covers your hometown sports scene like no one else. Exclusive interviews, in-depth analysis, and stories that take you inside the game. Midwest Sports Tonight, weeknights at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
The St. Louis Cardinals sport the best record in the National League since the All-Star break at 40-21. Albert Pujols leads all National Leaguers in September with a .367 average and 17 RBIs. Darryl Kile is third in the National League with a 2.98 ERA. Hot team, hot player, hot pitcher. An excellent combination as the Redbirds tune up for possible postseason play. Red Hot Redbirds next on Fox Sports Net.
My home, sweet home. God bless America. My home, sweet home. Yeah.
God bless America here at PNC Park. They do not do it, obviously, during the seventh inning stretch, and the national anthem and God Bless America before tonight's ball game. Game 2 of this 4-game set, and welcome to Pittsburgh. Once again, Dan McLaughlin and Al Raboski. We're talking about it during the pregame show, Al. This is the hottest team right now in baseball.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals are, and of course the Pirates are going in a different direction. But it's so important that you have to beat up on these clubs. And you can see during this 7-game winning streak, the Cardinals are just out-slugging everybody. They have that average over 300, but the pitching has been outstanding with an ERA under 2.
Yeah, under 2, and the Cardinals, if you even take it further, have won 10 of 11. So the Redbirds will send Darryl Kile to the mound tonight. And the way that it matches up, you've got Houston 6 more times. You've got Williams, Morris, and Kyle going in those games. So tonight's a big start for him to tune it up.
Well, it really is. And, of course, as Dave Duncan told us in the pregame show, that with a little extra time, the medication they have given him for his elbow, he feels like he has a new arm. And I think in this case, with a delay, it's really helped him, and he's going to respond down the stretch.
Well, we're just about set to go here at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Perfect night for baseball. Kyle looking for victory number 14 tonight. It's the Cards and Pirates on Fox Sports Net.
Lucky Town.
I'm president of the Lucky Town Ham Radio Operators, and we talk to people all over the world.
This is Lucky Town. Do you read? Over.
Well, we've become really good friends with this club in Stockholm.
Yeah, we read you Lucky Town.
They're coming here next week in person, so we'll finally get a chance to meet them.
Want to get to Lucky Town? Play scratchers from the Missouri Lottery. With lots of games and lots of ways to win instant cash, it could be your ticket to Lucky Town.
Michael Edo owns a Hyundai Elantra.
I drive 1,000 miles a week, and the gas mileage is outstanding.
Kiplinger's Personal Finance says the Elantra is the best new car in its class. It comes with the freedom of America's best warranty and a long list of features, including front and side airbags. It's the only car in its class that has them standard.
It drove like a much more expensive car.
The Hyundai Elantra, at just $13,294, it's a solid value. The Hyundai Elantra at just $13,294. Your test drive is waiting.
Cheap, cheap, fun, fun.
Hi, I'm Fred from Dirt Cheap.
Cheap.
Beer and liquor.
It's always a lot of fun at Dirt Cheap.
Yes, it is a lot of fun at Dirt Cheap. And we want you to have fun this summer.
Cheap, cheap.
Yes, it's cheap, but it's also perfect for every occasion. Remember, the more of our beer she drinks, the better you look. Please visit us. We are the last refuge of the persecuted smoker, and we really are grateful for your business.
Cheap, cheap, fun, fun.
This story is about me and my 2 pals. Nothing could ever come between us. Then she came along.
I don't want you to see Wayne or JD ever again, Darren.
Judith proposed to me.
Darren's my puppet and I'm his puppet master.
We're gonna kidnap Judith and set Darren up with Sandy.
Yeah!
What?
The bat is leaving the cave.
I just can't figure out why Judith left. Maybe she got kidnapped.
Saving Silverman.
It wasn't only a career change, it was a change in our lifestyle.
I'm really proud of her. She's really cool.
She brings a different point of view. I think she'll get ahead very fast.
Thanks to my education, my family and I feel much more secure. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-741-5232. That's 1-800-741-5232.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Pennzoil, protection under the toughest conditions. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, for tires and complete auto service. All you need is Dobbs. The Cardinals are trying to make it 8 wins in a row. It's game 2 of this 7-game road trip and game 2 of this 4-game set against the Pittsburgh Pirates. A look at Tony La Russa's lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Paquette in the leadoff spot, just the 3rd time he's done that this season. Then Polanco, Drew, Pujols, Edmonds, McGuire, Renteria, Mike Matheny, and Darryl Kile.
Bronson Arroyo would be on the mound. He's appeared for the 22nd at time, but he is not, it's only his 11th start, 4-6 on the year. See the amount of hits and innings pitched, not a very good strikeout to walk ratio. They sent him down to prepare for the starting rotation. Say he's pitched much better, but other people say that in every at bat he'll give you a hitter 2 pitches that they can hit and pound on.
The right-hander is 4-6 on the season. This is his 2nd stint with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2001. Chrysler Jeep starter Bronson Arroyo. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. Kevin Young gets the start at first base. He's been in Pittsburgh for quite some time. Warren Morris in his 2nd season with the Pirates, a down year for him. Aramis Ramirez has had an outstanding season for Pittsburgh. Jack Wilson, former Cardinal farmhand, is at short. Giles in left, another solid year for him. Gary Matthews Jr. picked up off of waivers from Chicago. He's in center field. Adam Heisdu is in right, highly touted draft pick from a long time ago, trying to make it in the big leagues. And behind the plate, perennial all-star Jason Kendall, who's also having a down year for Lloyd McClendon and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Paquette, Polanco, and Drew here in the first. Fernando Vina, if you're wondering about his status, does not have much strength in that hand that he was hit on last night. May play in this series. He's listed as day-to-day, will not play tonight. So Paquette in the leadoff spot, then Polanco and Drew. And the first pitch to Craig is a strike, and we're underway here in Pittsburgh.
Craig guaranteed everyone is going to steal a base or 2 tonight.
He has 2 stolen bases on the year.
But he's a leadoff hitter now. So
you got to have that mentality.
Oh, definitely.
Same pitch, called a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Paquette on the year. What a job he has done, Al. Well, and in particular in the RBI department.
Absolutely. 366 with runners in scoring position. 23 RBIs his last 30 games.
There you see in the last 8 games, hitting .350 with 3 RBIs and 2 doubles. And if Matheny or Kile can get on, you've got an RBI man in that first spot in the order. In Paquette looks at a ball to even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield is straight away for Mr. Paquette. Arroyo has been out of the bullpen and as a starter this season for the Pirates. Also spent some time in their Nashville AAA club.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries to their starting rotation, and actually they lost about 60% of it coming out of spring training. So it has not been a fun year for Lloyd McClendon, his first in the big leagues.
Francisco Cordova has missed time. That's grounded foul. Nice play by Jose Oquendo and a flip to a fan. Chris Benson, one of the top pitchers in the game before he was hurt.
Yeah, and they trade off Jason Schmidt. You know, that was a terrible, terrible trade. Vanderwall also.
2-2 pitch, broken bat. That's a base hit for Paquette. Just stuck the bat out on that 2-2 delivery. And he has himself a base hit, his 3rd hit in this series.
I mentioned as a starter, in his 10 previous starts, he is 3-6, ERA well over 6. In 11 relief appearances, better, 1-0, 3.43. But because of the injuries, he's been forced to do something. And that's why when he really went down was to go down to Nashville and learn how to start or get his innings up so he stamina.
Here is Polanco coming off a big night last night. A 9-1 victory for St. Louis.
See, the Pirates know that he's a threat.
You're right. 3-hit games, our Casino Queen leaderboard in the National League. Polanco with 20. 3 ahead of Aurelia, the shortstop for San Francisco, and the center fielder from Colorado, Juan Pierre. Paquette a very short lead at first, and of course Polanco, the perfect hit-and-run man at the plate.
One thing, these Cardinal batters stay disciplined and look for a pitch. This pitcher will make his mistakes, and he'll get a lot of balls up in the zone.
1 ball, no strikes on Placido. Paquette at first. Runner is going, and it's fouled away. Cardinals trying to jump out to that early lead, and that's something that they'd like to do against the Pirates once again. The Cards 9-2 this season against Pittsburgh.
Well, you know, you see Tony, the more active wins than any other manager currently. And, you know, the thing is, when you have a second division team and a team that you've dominated against, the Cardinals have won 9 of the first 11 meetings this year against the Pirates. You just have to, if you stay on top of them, they will fold.
1 ball, 1 strike on Polanco. This might be 2. Wilson to Morris on to first, and a double play. 6-4-3 double play. A leadoff base hit is erased, and with 2 down, that'll bring in J.D. Drew.
Arroyo, when he does get this ball down, he can get a lot of sinking fastballs and induce some ground balls. So tailor-made. One of the bright spots is Jack Wilson, the former Cardinal farmhand, the shortstop. And that is the pitcher's best friend. But Danny, you get on top of these guys, and they'll say, you know, it's just not our year. If you stay even with them or let them have a lead, then they puff out their chest and they start saying, hey, you know, in a couple years we're going to really be a good ball club, but we think we can beat it and be a spoiler now.
And for many of these teams, this is their postseason.
Absolutely. You know, it's been very disappointing. They're going to have big crowds tonight and tomorrow here, but it's a time for them to shine.
1-2 on J.D. Drew. Let's take a look at the head-to-head matchup between these two teams. The Cardinals have dominated. Look at the batting average for the Pirates, under 200, and the ERA near 7.
Look at the Cardinals' ERA under 2. Team average 281.
Well, no one in the first 76 games here at PNC Park, and this is game number 76, has reached the Allegheny River in the air with a home run. Now, J.D. Drew did do that. His landed in the Riverwalk area outside the ballpark, and there's a base hit for J.D., and you know he can fly, and that's going to be 2. Digging for second, and he's in there with a 2-out double. Boy, don't you like to see him in that number 3 spot? He's perfect for that.
Well, what I really like is just his approach. Last couple days, we've seen him go out and really just try to make contact with that ball out away from him. A little bit off speed, or even if it's a fastball, but just trying to guide that ball into fair territory. And when he does that and start utilizing the entire playing surface, he's going to be that much better.
Here is Pujols, and the numbers just keep on coming from this rookie who's only 21. Albert Pujols. Forget the Rookie of the Year. That's a lock. And now I think, Al, if the Cardinals get to postseason play, and if San Francisco doesn't, and the Cubs don't as well, you have to look at Albert Pujols as an MVP candidate. Whether or not he gets it, that's another story, but at least he has to be a candidate. There's a base hit, and Pujols puts the Cardinals on top. Drew is going to score a 2-out, at least a double for Pujols. He's digging for second. He has another RBI. That is RBI 121 on the season for Albert Pujols. And the average on the rise. He came in at 336, and he does it again here in the first.
Well, Danny, he's also amongst the league leaders in game-winning RBIs. He's got 19 of them to lead this ball club. This is potentially his 20th one. And you say another RBI, another couple total bases. He's closing in on Dick Allen's record of National League rookie total base record.
He needs 18, now 16 to get to that mark. He's having another great month.
Leaders in RBIs this month. But I mean, that's what you do too. And the voters are going to remember what you do the final couple weeks. And if you can do it in the middle, in the heart of a pennant race, and say the Giants and Cubs fall out of there, it just makes his numbers that much more important. And
you think about when McGwire hit 70 in '98. Now, if he's not the MVP because his team doesn't get into postseason play, well, then neither should Bonds, neither should Sosa, and you have to look at teams that get to postseason play because of a player like Pujols.
You can also look at, you know, a lot of people say Bagwell is a candidate, which he obviously should be. But look at the supporting cast he's had around him. Alou and Berkman, Biggio, stuff like that. Jim Edmonds has had a down year. Mark McGwire's had a down year. Where's the protection come for Albert Pujols? And not only is he a rookie, but the strong point, the fact that he bats cleanup.
Yep. High and tight to Jim Edmonds, and we talked about it moments ago, jumping out to that early lead, and Albert Pujols, another big RBI to do that. 1-0 Redbirds here in the first.
Mitchell Page thought that Bronson Arroyo would try to throw a changeup to Edmonds.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball sharply hit to second. Warren Morris makes the play. And Edmonds is retired. Pujols left at second, but Albert adds to his RBI total. It's now up to 121, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Policeman, fireman, the mayor of my town. The dude's hanging off of the paper truck. Mr. Chang, down at the local deli, sells me morning coffee, wishes me good luck. This is for the people in my neighborhood. They help me through the day and make me feel good. This spot's for you. And you and you and you. This spot's for you.
Sorrel Fowler owns a Hyundai Accent.
I love the Accent. It's so cool looking.
Sorrel compared the Accent to the competition.
I researched it on the internet.
It comes with the freedom of America's best warranty and so many features. It's no wonder the Accent has become the best-selling car in its class.
You get a lot for your money.
The Hyundai Accent. At just $8,994, it could be the best choice for you, too. The Hyundai Accent. At just $8,994. Your test drive is waiting.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sports' biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know, Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want anyone to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
First-year manager Lloyd McClendon looking on for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's been a tough season. The Pirates have to go 8-7 in their last 15 games to avoid losing 100 games this season. Kendall at the top of the order, then Jack Wilson, Giles, Ramirez, Young, Morris, Matthews, Heisdu, and Arroyo. On the mound for St. Louis, it'll be the right-hander Darryl Kile looking for his 15th victory as part of our Chrysler Jeep matchup.
Look at that good ERA, and of course he's pitched extremely well. Over the 200 innings again. And a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's pitched 2 masterful games against the Pirates. He's just 1-0 with an ERA of 0. 2 games, 17 innings, no runs.
Albert Pujols, RBI, number 121 on his season, has given the Cardinals a 1-0 lead as we play here in the bottom of the first at PNC Park. Last time we saw Kyle was at Milwaukee at the game before the tragedy. The final game before the stoppage in play, an 8-0 victory for the Redbirds, and he went 6 innings in that game. Now you have to watch out for Kyle tonight. He's on a pitch count, an unofficial pitch count of around 85 to 90 pitches because of that stiffness and tendonitis that he's had in that elbow.
You see those numbers, they look pretty good. 6 innings, 9 hits, no runs, and only 1 walk, but you could tell something was not right in that outing. And with the layoff and some medication, a real good mental examination, a clear bill of health, and I think that clears your mind mentally that he feels like he's got it for the rest of the way.
The 1-2 pitch to Kendall fought off and popped up That'll find the seats. Remember, Al, the last time we were here, we were wondering what was wrong with Jason Kendall. Apparently he had a hurt thumb, and he was hitting under 250 at that time when the Cardinals were here. And that was part of that 10-game winning streak that the Cardinals had earlier this season when they beat up on the Pirates 7 of those 10 games. But Kendall has had his average on the rise ever since.
Yeah, 351 in his last 30 games.
The 1-2 pitch jammed him a bit, hit into center. One away.
Danny, one of the things.
Let's go around the horn defensively. A look at the Cards defense brought to you by Dobbs. McGuire at first base. Polanco gets the start at second. Only 3 errors on the season. Paquette is at third. Renteria, 21 errors on the year. He's at short. Pujols moves to left tonight. We just saw Edmonds, the Gold Glover, in center. J.D. Drew is in right. How good has his arm been as of late? And another Gold Glover, Mike Matheny, behind the plate. Edmonds backs up a step or two, and that ball was dying on him, and he made the play for the second out.
Well, one of the things you might see is some early hitting, because Matheny said that one of the things, and it goes along with the pitch count for Kile, is they want to get ahead in the count. They want to throw a lot of first pitch strikes and probably a lot of fastballs, and then eventually work in the breaking pitches after they know everything's fine.
It's been a poor season for the Pirates. Many of their big players not having good years. Guys like Derek Bell, we talked about Kendall, but not this guy. Brian Giles has had another solid season. The All-Star for the Pirates, hitting .317 overall. 34 home runs and 85 RBIs. Outfield straight away. Renteria at short, plays towards second base. Paquette way off the bag at third. Two balls and a strike.
Darryl Kile appears to be free and easy, really throwing the ball with.
That's popped up on the infield, so a good start to this game for the right-hander Kile. He's trying to pick up his 15th victory in a 1-2-3 first. We're through one. The Cardinals up 1-0.
The Pennant Drive is on Fox Sports Net. The Cardinals prepare for a slugfest in Houston. Big Mac is back on the prowl as the Cards try for a second straight trip to the playoffs. Bagwell powers a devastating lineup that has led the Astros to the top of the NL Central. Series begins Monday on Fox Sports Net.
Well, we're here on the Virginia Beach Boardwalk with Alan, and you having a good time, Alan?
Oh, yeah. Beach is great. Great seafood, great weather.
Well, you know, you can enjoy this all year round here in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, golf is great all year. Museums, shopping. I go whale watching in January.
So nobody has to convince you that Virginia Beach is sensational any time of the year.
No, here all the time.
Boy, you must have a pretty liberal vacation policy at work.
No, I just live 2 blocks over there.
Oh, really? Boy, if you're not on vacation, then how come you're wearing that shirt? Well, I'm here in the Virginia Beach ocean front, soaking up some rays with Becky here. You having a good time, Becky?
Oh, yeah, it's a great beach.
Now, what if I were to show you a whole bunch of great things you could do besides sitting on the beach? Would you maybe want to come back a little sooner than next summer?
Sure.
Ah, great. Well, if you call this number right here on the screen.
Where?
Right, excuse me?
What number?
What if I were to tell you that simply by calling this number on the screen...
What screen?
Where?
You see it, don't you? Call the number on the screen, they'll shoot one right out to you.
Can I have this one?
All right, I'll call the number.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Hey fans, party suites and rooms are now available for the rescheduled games, so mark this down on your calendar. October 5th, 6th, and 7th, when the Astros come to town as McGuire steps in here in the second. Sales office phone number 421-3060, area code 314-421-3060, and that could be the division games right there as the Astros are in town. Quickly 0-2 on Big Mac. October 5th, 6th, and 7th when the Astros come to town to close out the season. McGuire with home run number 25 last night on an 0-2 pitch. Originally not in the lineup and then moved to that leadoff spot. And Vina was hurt. In just a moment, we're going to take a look at our Hyundai Key matchup. One of the reasons why the Cardinals have put themselves in playoff contention is because of what they've been able to do on the road. We'll break that down even more in just a moment. Full count on Mark McGwire. McGwire, Renteria, and Mike Matheny. If anybody can reach, then Kile.
You'd think they'd come with a slider. That's kind of fooled him the first couple pitches.
The 3-2 to McGwire. Strikeout number 1 for Arroyo. Let's take a look at our Hyundai Key matchup that we talked about. And this includes a sweep over San Diego, a win at Milwaukee, and then, of course, a win here last night. The Cardinals are 5-0, 29 runs scored, only 2 allowed. And look at the ERA. That's unbelievable, Al.
Well, and that's the starter's ERA. Overall, it's 0.40. So, I mean, this club is coming together at the right time. The Achilles heel for the ball club has been their road games. And now they're only 5 games under 500 on the road. 19 games over 500 for the year.
Renteria shot right back up the middle. 1-out base hit here in the second. For the Cardinals, their 4th hit on the night already. I know Tony La Russa was thinking about putting Renteria in the top spot of the order, but he doesn't want to move him because he really feels Renteria's coming around.
Well, he really has been swinging the bat very well. He's hit in 35 his last 45 games, better than 325. He had a couple hits last night.
Here's Matheny with Kile on deck.
And Mike 0 for his last 10, but you just cannot, get away from the contribution that he makes back behind the plate and just how much the pitching staff believe in his calling pitches.
Two 2-0 on Mike Matheny. I think a guy that's gotten overlooked this year and defensively he's done a real nice job is Marrero.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the players that I know that the organization was a little concerned about, his pitch calling behind the plate, but they really feel he's improved on that. We always knew he had the strong arm, and Matheny shoots this one into left. Giles going back after a few steps in and makes the play. 2 outs. Back to first, Edgar.
And Marrero is supposed to rejoin the ball club tomorrow, as he's been in Miami for the birth of a baby.
Here's Kile with 2 outs and a man on.
We haven't heard if Marisol has had that child yet.
Darryl is 7 for 63 on the year, hitting .111. Broken bat popped up on the infield, foul ground. Ramirez has it, and the Cardinals strand a man. They've left 2 on the night. They lead it after an inning and a half. It's 1-0 St. Louis.
The Midwest Sports Report.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's the nightly newscast you've been waiting for.
This is the real deal.
30 minutes every night dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
We told you it was going to be good.
Your teams, your town, your show. The Midwest Sports Report, nightly at 10 on Fox Sports Net. NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sports' biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know, Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want anyone to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
The best damn sports show, period. Sports comedy, commentary, updated scores and highlights. The best damn sports show, period. Premieres Monday.
Bottom of the second here in Pittsburgh. Let's turn to our baseball history. This day in baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks. Back in 1959, Braves lefty Warren Spahn wins his 20th game of the season for the 10th time in his career. Let's turn to the Midwest Sports Report. As you well know, it comes up after the game tonight. Stephanie Gabos and Pat Paris, Bernie Miklas, who is now part of the staff, will sound off. Rams 49ers, they'll preview that matchup on Sunday, and the Fox Focus will focus on the old Detroit Red Wings. I mean old. Here's Aramis Ramirez, third baseman, young third baseman for the Pirates, and now this guy's had a monster season, hitting over 300, 32 homers, and 103 RBIs.
That's something that they predicted for him a couple years back.
Remember, we were here a couple of years ago as that ball is hit foul, and he started up with the glove and then was sent down, and the expectations was that he could be one of the top third basemen in the game back in 98 and 99. That didn't happen, and now he's turned into one of the better young third basemen in the game.
Well, Danny, that's usually what happens. That's usually the road for rookies, not the road that Pujols took.
Right. Big breaking ball. He reaches out, and a good pitch. Renteria settles himself and guns him out. Besides Renteria at the plate, his defense to me has really stood out in the last month and a half, 2 months.
But don't kid yourself. Renteria is a money player, so as the more importance of these games, the more you're going to see this kid turn it on. And he's been doing it for a good month and a half.
Yep. Kevin Young will step to the plate. He'll be followed by Warren Morris. Young hitting .235. It's been 4 up and 4 down to start this game for Kile. Free and easy is the way that Al talked about the motion and delivery of Darryl Kile, and I think you're right, Al.
What I liked was just the way he was spotting his fastball the first inning, really getting the feel, getting ahead in the count, and got some big pitches when jamming guys with his fastball. Now as the game goes on a little bit, and they know that psychologically the arm's fine, you'll start seeing him incorporating the curveball more.
He did it a little bit more against Ramirez. That first at bat this inning.
Well, you know, part of it is certain guys can hurt you. You've got to pitch to a little more.
2-2.
Darryl Kile has really had these Pirates numbers. I mentioned he's 1-0 this year, but with a first inning shutout gives him in his 18 1/3 shutout innings against the Pirates. 18 2/3 now.
His first strikeout on the night. And What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Cards and Pirates tomorrow night at 6 will be on WB11, and the Cardinal Television Network will also come your way on the Cardinal Television Network on Sunday afternoon. The pitching pairing for tomorrow night, Bud Smith and Todd Ritchie. Ritchie 11 and 12. Bud is 5 and 2. He's been outstanding his last 2 starts. And then we'll see Dustin Hermanson against Dave Williams on Sunday. A little squibber by Morris. Good play by Paquette. 3 up, 3 down, 6 up and 6 down to start the game for Kile. 1-0 St. Louis as we head to the 3rd.
The Pennant Drive is on Fox Sports Net. The Cardinals prepare for a slugfest in Houston. Big Mac is back on the prowl as the Cards try for a second straight trip to the playoffs. Bagwell powers a devastating lineup that has led the Astros to the top of the NL Central. Series begins Monday on Fox Sports Net.
Michael Edo owns a Hyundai Elantra.
I drive 1,000 miles a week, and the gas mileage is outstanding.
Kiplinger's Personal Finance says the Elantra's the best new car in its class. It comes with the freedom of America's best warranty and a long list of features, including front and side airbags. It's the only car in its class that has them standard.
It drove like a much more expensive car.
The Hyundai Elantra, at just $13,294, it's a solid value. The Hyundai Elantra at just $13,294. Your test drive is waiting.
Conference action heats up. Joey Harrington powers the Oregon Charge against USC. Western Kentucky takes on Southwest Missouri State.
Unbelievable!
College football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, presented by King and Sarah today. You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Well, the Cardinals at 83-64, trying to make it 8 straight here tonight in Pittsburgh, and they have a lead of 1-0. Albert Pujols, his 121st RBI on the season. Top of the order for the Redbirds here in the third. Paquette, Polanco, and then Drew, if anybody can reach Pujols. Paquette has one of the Cardinals' 4 hits tonight. And normally you see the speed gun at the top portion of your screen. We're working on that. Hopefully we'll have it up and running throughout Cardinal baseball here tonight. Paquette getting the start tonight for Fernando Viñas on the bench with that sore hand after being hit by the pitch last night. Was taken out in the first inning.
And it's around the ring finger is where he was hit on the right hand. That really doesn't affect your throwing, but since it is the bottom hand swinging the bat, you have trouble gripping it.
Paquette sticks the bat out, hits it into right center. Matthews Jr. has it. Now with the Pirates, 1 away. Paquette is 1 for 2. Well, this year and for the next 6 seasons, Fox Sports will be the exclusive network carrier of baseball's postseason play. 8 of baseball's best battle it out in the Division Series, the ALCS, the NLCS, and finally, of course, the World Series. Fox Sports, your exclusive network carrier of baseball's postseason, coming this fall. Here's Polanco, hit into a double play his first time up.
We might have to talk to our promo people about that little. I didn't see a Cardinal flying out there and showing the teams that they were
touting.
Yeah.
2 outs. I did see a Cubs logo, I believe, Al, flying out of there.
Well, it flies out every century, whether you need to or not. Yeah, the Cubbies, you know, they're playing Houston in Texas tonight, so I might be a Cub fan for the day. Or I might not.
I just can't see you doing that.
Well, I am.
Here's Drew. Fouls it off his foot or his instep. Shin area. He'll walk it off. JD tonight has doubled and scored a run on Pujols' double.
Talked to Joe Carter today, and I said, tell Ron Santo that I'm rooting for the Cubs.
He wouldn't believe it,
He'll probably be back in the hospital after he heard that.
Ron Santo works on the radio broadcast, longtime Cubby. I love doing games next to their broadcast booth for the nice messages he sends across when they score runs.
The hand signs.
The
right?
hand signals. He's not happy. You think about the Cubs, though, and their top 3 starters are probably right now better than Houston's, Al. When you think about Cruz, who we saw, who was outstanding.
And he's pitching tonight.
Right. Wood and Lieber. I mean, that's not bad right there.
No. Oswalt is going to miss at least 1 start. Hernandez and Estacio are out for the year.
Right. They just got back Shane Reynolds.
And you still got Wade Miller.
It's their bullpen to me that stands out. 7, 8, and 9. You get into those innings, it's going to be tough against the Astros as Drew strikes out. The second strikeout on the night with Bronson Arroyo. 1-0 St. Louis through 2.5.
at the wheel, under a big sky, working in the field. From the brewery crew to the lager-in man, get it to you fast and fresh as they can. This is from the people working hard every day, talking about the folks who get this bud my way. This bud's for you, and you, and you, and you. This bud's for you.
The Midwest Sports Report.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's the nightly newscast you've been waiting for.
This is the real deal.
30 minutes every night dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
We told you it was going to be good.
Your teams, your town, your show. The Midwest Sports Report, nightly at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Auto Tire. For the very best in tires and service, you ought to go to Auto Tire. And by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Well, there's rain in the forecast here tonight in Pittsburgh, but it's been perfect so far. Rather cool night for baseball in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We hope you're enjoying this one. Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net, Game 2 of this 4-game set. Dan McLaughlin alongside of Al Raboski. Sure, it was an emotional pregame ceremony tonight as the Mets return home to Shea to take on Atlanta. And speaking of baseball aside, I mean, what a emotional night for New Yorkers and the fans at Shea and for people across the country tuning in on television.
Well, you know, there was some talk of moving that series to Atlanta.
Right.
And Mayor Rudy Giuliani said, no way. We want baseball back, and we want it as soon as possible in New York. And of course, the parking lot was almost like a staging ground for a lot of the emergency services and dropping off some of the supplies there at Shea Stadium.
Here's Gary Matthews Jr., who's hitting .261 since being picked up off of waivers from Chicago. Then it's Heisdu. He's on deck. And the pitcher, Arroyo. The Mets will be coming out with the different hats representing the various groups of firefighters in New York and the police department, Red Cross. Their first game back, John Franco, native of the Bronx, picks up a victory. What an emotional night that must have been for him and for his teammates. Many friends, Franco, that were in the tragedy. Second strikeout for Kile.
Well, the Mets opened up here with the Pirates. And there you see that good downward action on the breaking ball. And a lot of the Pirates said, you know, it was a major distraction for them because every time they looked at their opposition in the field, you know, saw the hats, but just seeing the uniforms here in New York, it was like a constant reminder for them.
There's Adam Heisdu hitting .206 on the year. Yankees have yet to play at Yankee Stadium there at Baltimore over the weekend. You mentioned Mayor Giuliani, and he has been a pleasure to watch. And I'm sure you're just like me, Al, glued to your television set and watching just about every minute you can of the coverage. And every time I see him, I appreciate what he's been able to do in that city.
Mayor of New York is, that's a big job. You know, under ideal conditions.
On a normal day.
Yeah.
Nothing normal about what's going on, obviously. Three balls and a strike on Heisdu with the pitcher on deck. This was one of those can't miss prospects for a while. Full count.
Well, he's got a lot of power. He went to the same high school that Griffey did, junior, in Cincinnati. I think broke his home run record there. And then, of course, he had a night against the Reds that he will not forget in Cincinnati, where he hit a couple home runs.
3-2 pitch way outside. And the first walk handed out for the Pirates. And let's break down Darryl Kile and his career with the 3 different teams that he has pitched with, the Cardinals, Rockies, and the Astros. Pretty consistent in his career with the exception of his stay in Colorado.
Well, I think first of all, he started with the Astros. He won 71 ball games. Really emerged there as a top-notch at the end, and went as a free agent. He signed with the Rockies. Things just didn't work for him there, but since he's come here with the Cardinals, 34 wins, and he is truly one of the best in the league.
Arroyo trying to get down the bunt. He does. Kile to second, and Renteria couldn't hold on. The throw is up the line a bit, but the play probably should have been made by Edgar.
Well, it was all at one time. He's kind of stretched out a little bit. No crow hop, sidearm. That ball will sail on you a little bit, but he felt the pressure of the runner coming down on him. Sliding in here, and you see, took his eye off it, didn't look the ball into the glove, tried to jump over the sliding base runner, and that's kept him from holding on to the ball.
An error on Kile, his 3rd on the year.
So with 1 out now, you've got to do a little pitching.
Here's Kendall. Al talked about it before. He's been hitting over 350 since late July. Kendall's in the first year of a big contract. 23rd overall pick back in 1992.
And experimented a little bit with him playing in the outfield.
Made some starts in left and right, trying to save his knees.
He's got good foot speed for a catcher. That will diminish if he stays back behind the plate. And as you mentioned, he really had numbers were way down because of a ligament tear in his thumb.
2 men on and 1 out, and the pitch is fouled back and out of play. 1-2.
Jason's dad was a big league catcher and currently is a bullpen coach with Colorado, Freddie Kendall.
Jason talks about him in glowing terms. He loves to talk about how you hear about gym rats in basketball, how this guy was a stadium rat in San Diego most of his time. Always at the ballpark with his dad.
Well, Dan, it wasn't that prevalent at that time for the players to be allowed to bring their kids. It started coming in vogue. I remember seeing Brian McRae, all the time with the Kansas City Royals, but you didn't see it to me. I don't remember Matthews Jr. when I played with his dad down in Atlanta. All these guys learned the baseball from their moms.
Full count on Kendall. Inning started with a strikeout of Gary Matthews Jr. Heisdu walked on a 3-2 pitch that was way outside. Arroyo trying to bunt him to second. Bunted it back to Kile. He threw it away for an error, so it's 1st and 2nd. 1 out and a 1-0 lead for St. Louis. Jack Wilson, the shortstop, on deck as Kile and Matheny are trying to hook up. Runners are going. Ground ball hit to short. They get the man at second, on to first, and a double play. Even with the runners started, Renteria to Polanco on to Big Mac, and they're able to turn the 6-4-3 double play. With the pitcher running from 1st to 2nd, they were able to catch him. 1-0 St. Louis.
Wake up, Cindy. 2 a.m. Cable modem has full speed.
Hey. Oh, hey. Cable speed is up. Just put on some fresh coffee. Thanks, Greg.
There is a better way to get online. DSL Internet from SBC Southwestern Bell. We're on it.
Call today for a special offer.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. Comedy.
My answer is yes, and crutch that.
Commentary.
If it wasn't for him, baseball would be in the toilet right now.
Updated scores and highlights.
Lisa Guerrero is hot.
The show that takes you places no other dares to go. Join Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of opinionated ex-jocks. What more could you want from a sports show?
I think Porky Pig would agree.
The best damn sports show, period. Premieres Monday at 7:30 and 11:30.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sport's biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know, Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Midwest Sports Tonight covers your hometown sports scene like no one else. Exclusive interviews, in-depth analysis, and stories that take you inside the game. Midwest Sports Tonight, weeknights at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Let's turn to our trivia question for tonight, brought to you by Aflac. How many Gold Gloves did Ozzie Smith win? Double figures with the St. Louis Cardinals. I want to say, was it 11 or 12 with St. Louis?
I just know how many total. I'm not sure.
We'll answer that in just a moment. For in-depth stats on where they hit them and everything else in baseball, log on to STLCardinals.com, the official source for Cardinal stats, STLCardinals.com. Connect with it. Ozzie Smith headed to the Hall of Fame next year.
Here's a guy that's having a Hall of Fame rookie season, and you know, with his double in the first inning, he is now tied another National League rookie record, and this one being extra base hits. He's tied Johnny Frederick of Brooklyn back in 1929 with now currently 82.
And he's trying to bunt his way on, and it's a beauty.
If it stays fair.
Let's take you back to the first inning, and Pujols with that record-tying double. And some more total bases for him. That brought in J.D. Drew, back-to-back doubles, and now here's the bunt that just went foul. How about that from Albert Pujols?
Well, Arroyo made a nice decision to let that ball roll, and it eventually rolled past the white line into foul territory.
So Pujols with an RBI, the only RBI in this game, number 121 on his season. Pujols, Edmonds, and Big Mac.
Once again, tied a National League record, rookie record for extra base hits with 82.
I know some folks were saying, well, Oswalt of Houston should have some serious consideration for Rookie of the Year, and I'm thinking, you kidding me?
Yeah, rookie pitcher.
Yeah, exactly. But this guy is running away with that award, and
you just can never give it to a pitcher if there's a position player that is having an outstanding. And remember, Oswald's won 14 games, I think, but he didn't even start the season with the big club.
Right. 2-2 the count on Pujols, who's playing left tonight. Paquette is at third, and Polanco moves from third to second with the injury to Vigna, who's day to day. The 2-2. High fly ball left field. Breaking ball, and he got under it, and Giles is there for the first out here in the fourth. We're talking about Gold Gloves. I was thinking about this, Al, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, but we see Edmonds win it last year. Matheny wins it last year, but I'm looking at Placido Polanco with 3 errors on the season, moving from third to second. He's got a shot, doesn't he?
He probably doesn't.
Really?
You know, I mean, I'll be the first to say I agree with you and think he's deserving, but I think when you, unfortunately, and you don't knock his offensive numbers, but you can't tell me that offensive numbers don't enter into the Gold Glove. And it's the managers and coaches that vote on the Gold Glove recipients.
It's one of the best kept secrets right now in baseball. Polanco. If you ask fans that follow the game about some of the top third basemen or utility men, and they probably wouldn't mention Polanco.
That's why I'm saying he gets overlooked. There's an awful lot of people that have fallen in love with him just because of the way he plays the game, and just an outstanding young man. But
Edmonds fights off a 1-2 pitch, stays alive.
Not exactly the first guy that comes to your mind.
Exactly. McGuire's on deck. 1-0 St. Louis here in the fourth. You think about range of third baseman and getting to balls and making plays, and Polanco is as good as anybody. 2-2 the count on Edmonds. He's having a nice at bat here after falling behind 0-2. He's fought off some good pitches. Stays 2-2. Expecting his sellout tomorrow night, fireworks night here at PNC Park. And a pretty decent crowd here tonight. Edmonds chasing that pitch, and he strikes out. Third strikeout on the night for Arroyo.
Take a look at this delivery. Like it was that off-speed pitch, a changeup or something, that they said that they thought he would hang one to Edmonds tonight. So that one was very good.
May have been his best pitch on the night. Here's Mark McGuire, struck out looking on a 3-2 delivery, his first time up. 0 for 1 tonight, did homer in this series in game number 1 last night.
That was first home run here, and gives him 39 different parks that he has conquered. It's most in the major leagues.
Ellis Burks is also up there, I believe, with 39.
Yeah, if he may be there equal. Mark did not play here in Pittsburgh the first time we were here.
Right.
There's the River Watch. Boy, that's been a real big promotion.
2-2 on Big Mac. Happy birthday to 5-year-old Austin Mays. Uncle Bob Toski is in attendance. And Austin is at home watching tonight on Fox Sports Net as McGuire strikes out for the second time. 4 strikeouts for the right-hander. The Cardinals lead it 1-0.
Conference action heats up. Joey Harrington powers the Oregon Charge against USC. Western Kentucky takes on Southwest Missouri State.
Unbelievable!
College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, presented by King Sarah today.
They say the grass is always greener on the other side.
You're a credit to capitalism, Jack.
But if you're Jack Campbell, you're about to find out the hard way.
You just remember that you brought this on yourself.
In The Family Man, this month on pay-per-view.
Good Lord. God, you're beautiful.
Order it this month on Dish on Demand pay-per-view for a chance to make your life greener. After the credits, watch for the key to $20,000 to spend however you choose and enter the Family Man sweepstakes at universalppv.net or play the online game to enter.
If I look happy, it's because I've got a super night's sleep in my Craftmatic Monaco adjustable bed. I'm also delighted because of the free TV I received. You can get a free 25-inch color TV with the purchase of any Monaco adjustable bed, too. Just call toll-free to receive this free TV certificate by mail. Call to have your free 25-inch color TV certificate and complete details about Monaco mailed to you right away.
Call 1-800-514-8181.
watching Fox Sports Net.
Midwest Sports Tonight covers your hometown sports scene like no one else. Exclusive interviews, in-depth analysis, and stories that take you inside the game. Midwest Sports Tonight, weeknights at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
What can I get you guys?
I'll have the Spanish omelet and some hash browns.
I'll come back.
NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Conference action heats up. Joey Harrington powers the Oregon Charge against USC. Western Kentucky takes on Southwest Missouri State.
Unbelievable!
College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, presented by Kyocera today. The Pennant Drive is on Fox Sports Net. The Cardinals prepare for a slugfest in Houston. Big Mac is back on the prowl as the Cards try for a second straight trip to the playoffs. Bagwell powers a devastating lineup that has led the Astros to the top of the NL Central. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the program.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. 1-0 Redbirds, top of the 5th. Renteria, Mike Matheny, and Darryl Kile here in the Cardinals' half of the 5th. Edgar tonight has a base hit. This month, Polanco, Paquette, and Renteria. Pretty good numbers, 336 average, and numbers are high combined in the RBI department, but no Albert Pujols.
Now Pujols has, I think, 6 or 7 more than all 3 of those guys combined this month in the RBIs.
2-1 the count. Ground ball hit to short. Jack Wilson is there. 1 up, 1 down, and the right-hander is really settled in. Last base hit was from Renteria. He's set down. Now 9 straight. Midwest Sports Report coming up after the game. The final out here at PNC Park. Bernie Miklasz of the Post-Dispatch will sound off. Rams and 49ers, they have a matchup this Sunday on the West Coast, and the Fox Focus will take a look at the Detroit Red Wings and all the different changes they've made with their club for the upcoming season. Great to have Bernie Miklasz aboard and part of the Midwest Sports Report.
Yeah, Mike Matheny is so giving and such a special person, but he's kind of found a new cause. A lot of people have heard about the Pearl family in Eureka, Missouri. They have 2 children who suffer from a blood disorder that causes bone marrow failure. One of their children, Alexandria, age 6, has already received a bone marrow transplant. However, the other one child, Matthew, age 4, is in desperate need. There's another local child, Brandon Anderson, that needs a bone marrow transfer. So the Cardinals are going to pitch in for a life bone marrow donor drive on Saturday, October 6th. That's a game, the second to last game of the season. There you go, Mike. Thanks a lot. And we're going to give you more information about this, but this is something that's very dear to Mike's heart, and a lot of people, good people from Cardinals Care, BJC Healthcare, and the Cardinal players all want to tell you that on Saturday, October 6, 2001, 9:30 to 2 p.m., I think it's at Gate 1, designated area, yeah, Gate 1 on the south side of Busch Stadium. The goal is the bone marrow drive to add as many as 700 new names to the new National Bone Marrow, or the National Bone Marrow Registry.
What a great cause that is.
Yeah, and it's something that normally it costs about $73. The cost will be $25 per person for the first 500 donors. And then the sponsors are going to put the other money. And they want to have a little bit of you to get involved in this thing, because it's, you know, you can receive a card good for 2 tickets for next season, chance to win attendant prizes, including player autograph balls and other merchandise, free parking in stadium garages. But, you know, it's something that you just don't just give a little bit of blood. You've got to take a little test. You also have to make yourself available. If you are matched up with someone, you can save their life. And so they want a little bit more of people just to take this serious. Donors' age must be 18 to 59 and free of any chronic diseases to qualify. It'll take about 30 minutes, approximately 30 minutes, depending on the crowd. The donors will be asked to complete a short medical information form, watch a 10-minute video, and have a very small blood sample drawn.
Kile swinging, lines it down the left field line. A one-hopper hops into the seats. He has a stand-up double. He squared, pulled back, and ripped it into left. And it's second and third with just one out in the top of the order coming up.
And normally you ask your pitcher, after you do that that butcher boy or fake bunt and hit, to hit down on the ball, because you don't want him to get a double up a line drive. Well, he hit this one well enough over the head of Giles, the left fielder, and almost a little bit too good, because the Cardinals catch a bad break in the ground rule double, or otherwise Matheny would have scored.
And here's an RBI man at that top spot in the order in Paquette. Good chance for him to pick up 59 and 60 here with a base hit.
And this has been Paquette's forte. 366 and a pair of home runs.
Look at that, 355 with runners on and 52 RBIs. He had a good whack at that one. No balls and a strike, and Paquette is 1 for 2 on the night.
Bring the infield in, open up more hitting lanes.
Cardinals have 6 hits tonight. Inning started with a ground out by Renteria. Matheny reached on the single up the middle, and now the Kile double. Second and third, infield in, just 1 out. The 0-1 pitch coming to Paquette. Just missed inside, 1-1. So good chance here for the Cards and Craig Paquette.
You help out on that bone marrow drive, you might be able to get a Paquette autograph ball. I know Mark McGuire's donated an autographed jersey. But a lot of the players have got some stuff.
1-2 on Craig. First baseman Young is obviously playing in with the rest of his mates on the infield, but he's way off the bag at first. I mean, he's almost towards second.
I was playing the percentages that the right-handed batter's not going to hit one inside the first base bag or down in that area, so well off the bag. And they're kind of bunching the outfielder, so if a ball down the right field corner, you know, you got a possibility even with Craig's speed for an inside the Parker.
Now you're thinking.
I'm greedy.
Why not? 1-2 on Paquette. Ball gets away and a run is going to score. And here comes some boos from these fans here at PNC Park. They've been watching some bad baseball here in Pittsburgh.
Well, Danny, if you're the Cardinals, you have to take advantage of this opportunity against the weaker clubs. Cardinals been doing it all season long, and the more you get on top of a club like the Pirates, the more their shoulders slump, the more they kind of say, well, we'll go get them tomorrow. A lot of game left in this one, but it's hard for them to battle back.
Third baseman stays even with the bag, and the rest of the infield is about middle half, and there's a base hit for Paquette and an RBI. 3-0 St. Louis. RBI 59 for Paquette.
Now Craig's so good in this situation, and you get him, that little guy hanging pitch right up there. Didn't have much break to it, but it sat right up in his eyes, and he hit it right back up the middle, hard enough to get it through.
So Paquette, with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, is now 9 for 17 with 14 RBIs. That's production. It's going to be tough to keep him out of the lineup. down the stretch. He's proven he can play every day, and he's doing so again here tonight. Here's Polanco. Matheny and Kile have scored this inning, a pitch out and undoing. Polanco tonight is hit into a double play back in the first and also grounded out to short. He's 0 for 2 after a 3-hit night last night. Cardinals picked up their first run tonight back in the first. Back-to-back doubles by Drew and Pujols. And they've added 2 more here in the 5th. I know Tony La Russa was considering this a huge game for Darryl Kile in many respects. Number one, get him back out on the mound and just get him back into the frame of mind of pitching again. But because of the way that the series shapes up, he thought this was an important start for Kile. And what a great start to this game. Now up 3-0, and he's been sharp tonight.
Well, you know, it's a couple things. You know, when you're facing the Pirates, you're facing a Royal, you know, it's a matchup you're supposed to win with Darryl Kile on the mound. But psychologically, you don't know. You know, he's very tough. The doctor said you're fine. His arm feels good, but until he gets out on the mound and throws the ball different and throws it, you know,
game situations,
you know, where, you know, then you kind of put everything together. Doctors say it's okay. It feels okay. Now I know it's okay.
And how about Dave Duncan before the game on our pregame show saying he thought that Kile basically was throwing with a new arm in the last couple of bullpen stints that he's had.
But then you also worry too because you're overly strong, and where you try and overthrow the ball and do some things a little abnormal and end up hurting yourself again, or just be out of whack and not throw strikes.
2-0 on Polanco with a man at first, and that's Paquette. So Craig has 2 hits on tonight. The Cardinals have 7 against this right-hander, and Kile has allowed just 1. Still only 1 out. Not much of a lead for Craig. He's going. The throw down to second is offline, but Paquette avoids the tag.
Told you.
There's your stolen base for Al Raboski, number 3.
Make book on it. And the 3rd steal for Craig this season. 3 out of 4, and a good slide avoiding the tag. Ooh, and he missed him. He missed him, and Jerry Crawford, the veteran of this umpiring crew, was right there at second base, right on top of it, and he's showed you he missed the tag.
Chance for Polanco here. Good pitch, 2-2. Placido has 37 RBIs, and Paquette is at second after his 3rd stolen base this season. Batting in the leadoff spot is Paquette. He's done the job tonight. 2 for 3 already for the injured Vigna. Polanco rips it to short. Wilson stays down. Placido's 0 for 3. Paquette moves up to 3rd, and it's up to J.D. Drew.
Hey, I was telling you about our birthday girl.
The 94-year-old?
Yeah, I never told you her name, though.
That might help.
Well, Stanton, Illinois is proud of Adeline Tutts. Tutt, and from St. Louis, or big Cardinals fan. And this note was from her daughter Dorothy and Les and all of her grandchildren. So happy birthday.
Here's Drew, who's doubled and struck out looking. He's 1 for 2. Also scored one of the Cards' 3 runs on the night. What a solid player he has turned into, and he really put on a defensive show despite 1 error in that series against Milwaukee. But I'm mainly talking about his arm. It's starting to get the respect of most people in the game that J.D. Drew has a strong arm, and now it's becoming a very accurate arm. And they're going to walk Drew here, and Pujols is on deck.
That's okay.
Do you understand this?
Yeah.
Please explain it.
Well, he kind of fell behind the count a little bit. You're playing the percentages. You know, right-hand pitcher, right-handed batter. But those percentages only work if you make good pitches.
Right. Pujols does have an RBI tonight. 1st and 3rd with 2 away. Albert's 1 for 2 tonight. Trying to extend the inning to Edmonds. That catches the corner.
Much slower runner. So, you know, thrown 88 pitches, 53 strikes.
Nobody up and throwing yet for Pittsburgh. Albert sticks the bat out and fouls it back. 0-2.
About a good fastball away, then had him reaching for an off-speed pitch, but we've seen Pujols, you know, he doesn't swing for the fences all the time. He's hit the ball where it's pitched, shorten up his stroke a little bit.
We even talked about it with 2 strikes. Remember how good he was at the beginning of the season, and just we take it for granted now. Rounds this one left side, and an error is made by the third baseman, and a run will score. Ramirez, his 23rd error on the year. Paquette scores, and it's 4-0 St. Louis. He was just backing up, and you could see this one eating him up all the way.
Yep. When you make that decision to let the ball play you know, bad things happen. This ball is not hit. It shattered the bat. It wasn't hit hard. He backed up because he didn't want to come in and get a short hop. But when you back up, you don't know what kind of hop you're going to get. Much better to come and be aggressive, come in, and at least you know where you're going to get the ball.
So an error on Ramirez. We've seen a wild pitch and now an error. And the Cardinals have played it 3 in this inning and lead it 4-0. First and second for Edmonds. He spins away from that. Jim tonight with a ground out and a strikeout. Seeing a team that is going for postseason play and a team that's just trying to wrap up their season here tonight.
Well, you know what, Dan, it's not easy for either side. You know, because the Cardinals are expected to pound on these guys and beat them. The Pirates, as you say, it's frustrating trying to play out your schedule, but you know, you got to use personal pride or whatever to motivate yourself.
3-1.
How about, would you like to see 101 RBIs for Edmonds?
26 homers and 98 RBIs on the year for Jim. We say it's a down year for him, but when it's all said and done, Jim Edmonds is going to play a great center field. He's going to hit around 290, and he's going to wind up with 30 or more home runs and over 100 RBIs.
Well, it's going to be, it's really his typical year. But he's put in a late charge to where he's getting these numbers up there where they are. But last year was just a career year.
Exactly. Strikes out here. Second time he is struck out. And strikeout number 5 for the right-hander. Cardinals play 3 in the inning and lead it 4-0.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. Comedy.
My answer is yes, and crutch back.
Commentary.
If it wasn't for him, baseball would be in the toilet right now.
Updated scores and highlights.
Lisa Guerrero is hot.
The show that takes you places no other dares to go. Join Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of opinionated ex-jocks. What more could you want from a sports show?
I think Porky Pig would agree.
The best damn sports show, period. Premieres Monday at 7:30 and 11:30.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sports' biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his His greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know, Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want anyone to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Midwest Sports Tonight covers your hometown sports scene like no one else. Exclusive interviews, in-depth analysis, and stories that take you inside the game. Midwest Sports Tonight, weeknights at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Well, mark down your calendar, October 7th, for all you Ducks Unlimited members. Don't forget, that is Sunday. It's coming up at the ballpark. It's DU Day at Busch. There's a picnic, raffle, and auction of Cardinals and Ducks Unlimited merchandise. And don't forget that the 7th is also Mark McGwire Bobblehead Day for kids 15 and under. For ticket information, call Ducks Unlimited Ticket Center, 425-0699. 425-0699. We saw that bobblehead for the adults the other day. That was a madhouse down at Busch. I came to the ballpark, Al, and this is no joke. I got there at probably 3 o'clock, maybe even before then. It was lined up all over the place in downtown St. Louis. I mean, I'm being serious about this. To get into the ballpark.
I saw it.
The lady that was in the front of the line had driven something like 8 or 9 hours all night, slept in her car. And remember that during the day it was pouring rain.
Right. There were people who had to be sitting in there in line.
Because it was the first, whatever, 20,000, whatever it was.
20,000 for adults.
Right. She saw one guy get in front of her and said, I've got to go. So she hops out of the car and just sat in the rain for the bobblehead.
I was told that there were some people that tried to line up the night before, and they wouldn't allow it.
To each their own. Here's Gary Matthews Jr. Struck out his only time up. He's 0 for 1. Kile has faced 2 over the minimum. He's been sharp and effective so far. Speed is topped out around 92, 93 here tonight on the scoreboard radar gun.
Hey, this is his 3rd start against the Pirates. Complete game shutout. 8 innings shutout baseball. And here, 4 1/3 shutout innings.
2 balls and a strike. They're in the 4th at Shea Stadium. No score between Atlanta and the Mets. There's a good tailing fastball. Philadelphia scoreless against Florida. That's in the 6th. We'll keep an eye on that game, as well as the Chicago-Houston game. No score there early on. The 2-2 from Kile. Struck him out. Got him on the inside corner. His 4th strikeout tonight. 2nd time he's gotten Gary Matthews Jr. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. And Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. We're in the 5th, and it's 4-0 Redbirds. Heisdu coming out of his shoes, trying to reach that curveball, and Kile has had some good stuff here tonight, Al.
Well, he sure does, and you know, he has that ability with the fastball. They go up there looking for that. They can't adjust to the curveball. Then they look for the curveball and throws the fastball by him. But he's spotting his pitches very effectively.
And he has Heisdu at 0-2. Drops down the first time tonight. See you later. Struck him out. Strikes out 2 in the 5th. He has struck out 5 tonight, and he is sharp to say the least. The Pirates have just 1 hit, and the Cards are up 4-0.
Want a nut? Hey, want some nuts?
NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Why are you looking at me like that? One, because it seems you are the only survivor of this train wreck. And two, you don't have a scratch on you.
I've come to believe a rather unbelievable possibility. I hope you can keep an open mind. Are you ready for the truth?
Unbreakable, rated PG-13.
When you have money problems, just going to the mailbox can be frightening. It's the same when the phone rings. You know it's another creditor. I thought bankruptcy was the only way out. Then I called AmeriDebt.
Every day, AmeriDebt helps more people with money problems. We're a nonprofit organization offering free consultations to consumers seeking to eliminate their debt.
Now my balances are dropping, and I only have one small monthly payment.
Call this number regardless of your situation. AmeriDebt, helping America get out of debt.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers for tires and complete auto service. All you need is Dobbs. PNC Park, and Darryl Kile is pitching at Jim thus far, and he has struck out so far tonight 5. And his last strikeout was outstanding. He saves it, and he doesn't show it very often, but this is our perfect delivery of the game, brought to you by Pizza Hut. This is when he drops down, Al, and he'll save it for that time or two in the game when he really needs to, and he digs down and does it there.
Well, he didn't really need to. He just didn't want to forget about it.
A different look, different part of the repertoire.
Yeah, he got Haizu with nobody on, so that's what I meant by it wasn't exactly a pivotal point of the game.
New pitcher in, it's a right-hander. Mike Lincoln takes over for the Pirates. And the first man he faces is Mark McGwire, who has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2 tonight and falls behind 0-1.
See, Mark McGwire's foundation is authorized $250,000. Set up a special children's fund for the, as you see, Lincoln's numbers, 26 games, 1-1 record, 35 innings. But for the children of the surviving firefighters, or the deceased firefighters, $150,000 from McGwire's foundation will go to those kids, and $100,000 to the police officers that lost their lives in New York.
Big Mac is 0 for 3 tonight, and that'll bring in Renteria, who has a base hit. Edgar's 1 for 2. First pitch by the right-hander is a strike to Renteria. Lincoln has been charged with just 1 earned run in his last 4 games, 6 2/3 innings. That is contract purchase from Nashville. He's 5 and 4 in 18 games for Nashville, and now in right field it's Chad Hermanson, so part of a double switch for the Pirates. Big breaking ball taken for a strike, 1-2. Bronson Arroyo, the starter, went 5 innings. He struck out 5, gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. And the defense wasn't very good behind him. Did walk a man, did have a wild pitch. Last month and a half, Renteria is hitting over 300 in the hole here. He held up 2-2. Bud Smith will go tomorrow night. Will come your way at 6 on WB11 against Todd Ritchie, who's a game under the 500 mark. He's 11 and 12. And Dustin Hermanson and Dave Williams Sunday afternoon. Pitching staff is set up to see Woody Williams, Matt Morris, and Kyle throw for St. Louis against the Houston Astros for the remaining 6 against the Stros. And probably one man that'll sit out a start will be Bud Smith. His innings are getting up there, so they're going to watch that. The Cubs have jumped out to an early lead against Houston. It's 1-0. Renteria strikes out. First strikeout for Lincoln. So it's 1-0 Chicago. That's just in the first. Keep an eye on that throughout the evening. Matheny's 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. First pitch swinging, pops it up at the shallow right. Warren Morris calls for it and has it. So 1-2-3 inning for Mike Lincoln. Kyle back to work. He has a lead of 4-0.
Michael Edo owns a Hyundai Elantra.
I drive 1,000 miles a week, and the gas mileage is outstanding.
Kiplinger's Personal Finance says the Elantra is the best new car in its class. It comes with the freedom of America's best warranty and a long list of features, including front and side airbags. It's the only car in its class that has them standard.
It drove like a much more expensive car.
The Hyundai Elantra, at just $13,294, it's a solid value. The Hyundai Elantra at just $13,294. Your test drive is waiting.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. Comedy.
My answer is yes, and crutch back.
Commentary.
If it wasn't for him, baseball would be in the toilet right now.
Updated scores and highlights.
Lisa Guerrero is hot.
The show that takes you places no other dares to go. Join Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of opinionated ex-jocks. What more could you want from a sports show?
I think Porky Pig would agree.
The best damn sports show, period. Premieres Monday at 7:30 and 11:30.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sports' biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know Roy and I have broken up.
He didn't want anyone to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
One hitter being tossed by right-hander Darryl Kile tonight, trying to get his 15th victory, and the Cardinals are up and in good shape 4-0. This year, for the next 6 seasons, Fox Sports is the exclusive network carrier. Baseball's postseason. Joe Buck will have the call of most of those games, and of course the World Series. Fox Sports, your exclusive network carrier. Baseball's postseason coming this fall. It's Chad Hermanson, part of the double switch last inning, as he took over in right for Heisdu. We update the game in Houston between the Cubs and Astros. It's 1-1. Lance Berkman has tied the game up. And that's after 1. They're heading to the 2nd inning. 4-0 here.
Just win your game and you let things take care of themselves.
Kyle has struck out 5 and allowed just 1 hit. By the way, Sammy Sosa has homered in the game for Chicago. .55 now for Sosa. If you're wondering about Bonds, he has 64. Foul ball. Sosa has 142 RBIs. Next closest is Helton, 131. See the pitch that Bonds hit for 64?
Oh, yeah.
Belt high right down the middle.
Yeah, with to tie the game.
Yeah.
With Polanco started moving to his right. Absolutely lost sight of the ball.
Let's turn to our advanced auto parts NL Central standings. The Cardinals 4.5 back in the Central, and they lead the wild card race up by 2.5 games. So the second hit on the night comes from Hermanson. And you would figure with 6 games remaining against the Pirates, that includes tonight, and still 3 to go with Milwaukee, the Cardinals are in the driver's seat down the stretch.
Well, you know, the thing is, you got to win your ball games. You got to win against these clubs that you expect to win. But Houston, everyone on their schedule is a contender.
San Francisco left. Games with the Cubs still left.
Cubs, Cardinals, and San Francisco.
Kendall's 0 for 2 tonight. Hit into a double play to end the 3rd. That ended the early threat for the Pirates, and that's been about the only threat they've had tonight. Nobody out, and the man at first. Little looper, right side. That's a fair ball. Just inside the line.
Right on the line. So a good pitch, bad result. Well, Jerry Crawford, there's Jerry Crawford at first base. He's the crew chief. And I think he, you know, where his location is, I have to think that he saw it hit right on the right line. It almost looks a little bit like it's foul, but, you know, he's stationary. He's looking right at it.
And you give him the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
He's in perfect position. So here's Jack Wilson, and here's the best threat that the Pirates have been able to muster so far against Kile. A base hit by Hermanson started the inning when Polanco was going the other way. That should have been a ground out. And now a little blue pit. Runners are going, and the pitch is fouled back. So at first and second, nobody out, down by 4. Lloyd McClendon.
Well, Jack Wilson
to get something going.
Hit the ball hard twice. One of them was a liner to Edmonds. The other one was to the wall. But you know, when you're down,
try anything.
What the heck? Yeah, you're struggling scoring runs. You haven't scored a single run off of Darryl Kile in 3 starts. Try something unusual, but it's also the possibility of a triple play.
Ground ball left side. That's a base hit. Pujols a strong arm. He comes up gunning. The throw is not in time, and Pittsburgh is on the board. It's 4-1 St. Louis, and an RBI for the shortstop, Wilson. 3 consecutive base hits against Kile here in the 6th.
That one just found a hole. He bounced it to the left side. Paquette playing in a little bit, and see, it gets by him and goes into left field. Comes up firing the ball a little offline, but too much speed from Hermanson. And now Dave Duncan will come down here, slow up Kile a little bit, get the bullpen active. Timlin. Kind of tells you how important they think that game is, that they have Timlin. Dave Beers did throw a simulated game this afternoon and recorded no ill effects. His control was a little bit off, but you would have to believe that he is not available tonight.
This is a game that you just have to keep jumping on the Buccos, who came into tonight's action with a 5-game losing streak. And before losing last night, they were swept in a 3-game series by the Mets, and this is a drive into right, and this game is tied. Home run number 35, RBIs 86, 87, and 88 for Brian Giles.
You have to be so careful with Giles and Ramirez, and here just a pitch right in his wheelhouse. Darryl, I think, knew it as soon as he allowed it. His 20th home run he's allowed this year, and we have a new ball game, 4-4.
Here's Ramirez. So after allowing just 1 hit coming into this inning, the Pirates have come with 4 straight. 3 consecutive singles, and now the 3-run home run by Giles. And a little life into this crowd now. Pitch count for Kile, 76. Dave Duncan had said between 80 and 90 for Kile tonight.
Right, so obviously they're going to try and get him out of this inning.
Little jam shot. Pujols has it. You think about how this inning started, and he deserves a better fate.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm never going to fault Polanco, but it was an odd play. Hermanson hit a ball that was probably to Polanco's a step or so to his left, and he took 2 steps to his right. So he obviously lost the ball off the bat, didn't know where it was going.
Fly ball off the bat of Young, and that'll be into the seats. Then the next man up is the bloop single on the chalk by Kendall.
On the chalk line, then the base hit by Jack Wilson through the drawn-in left side of the infield, but the pitch to Giles was a mistake.
Yep. Brand new ball game, as Al mentioned. It's now 4-4 here in the 6th. 1 out, nobody on, and an 0-1 count of the first baseman, Young. Make it 0-2.
What you want to do is you want to get him out of this inning. Kyle with a chance for his teammates to take the lead and give him that 15th victory, or help put him in line for it.
Gets Young to reach, and Kyle will make this play. 2 outs. You would figure this would be his last inning of work, and I say that because of the pitch count getting up there, and he's due to lead off next inning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you get him through this inning tied, then you get him on offense, you get him a lead, and he's in line for the victory. Obviously, you didn't want to see the 4 runs scored this inning, and then he had a much better chance at the victory.
There's Warren Morris, pair of groundouts, 1 to third, 1 to short. He's 0 for 2 against Kyle. Boy, the way he was throwing tonight, you didn't see this coming at all.
Not at all, but
one bad pitch to Giles, and that changes the complexion of this game. One thing about Brian Giles, and the people in Pittsburgh will tell you about this, despite the fact that they are horrible at 55 and 92, he comes to play every single game and every single inning, as evidenced by the year he's having. That's a tough play, and what a play. Made by Paquette, foul ground. That's a heck of a play to help out Darryl Kile in foul ground. But Giles, with his 35th home run, no doubt about it, ties this game. It's 4-4.
These swinging balls are like the joints in your body when you walk. If aligned, they swing smoothly. But move one just a bit, and ouch! It's no different with your body. And flimsy cushions and arch supports do little good. Introducing the Phase 4 Orthotics, uniquely designed to help maintain the alignment of your feet, spine, and pelvic area. Ligaments, muscles, and tendons of the feet are moved into a more aligned and supported position. So we're not just talking about a foot problem here. We're talking about a body problem, too. Tens of thousands have spent $150 or more at specialty stores. But through this exclusive television offer, they're just $39.95. And if you call in the next 20 minutes, we'll cut the price in half. That's only one payment of just $19.95. And they come with a full 5-year replacement warranty. Just imagine enjoying the things you love again, like dancing, bowling, taking a walk, or just going shopping. Have your shoe size ready when you call. This offer won't be around long. Order now.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
It's time for the Edward Jones quote quiz. Who said this? Quote, I want to be remembered as a ball player who gave all he had to give. All you have to do is go to edwardjones.com/quote quiz and answer that question, and you can get Cardinals tickets or autographed memorabilia from Stan the Man Inc. And I think the guys in the truck may have given you a clue with that last graphic where the graphic was over, the shot that we put on the screen.
You never know about that, as Gary Robinson will pinch hit for Darryl Kile. And the only thing I know is Clemente never would have gotten 3,000 hits without me.
You helped him along the way, huh?
Yeah, you know, I mean, he ended up with 3,000. Got 2 off me.
Best arm that you'd seen from the outfield? Has to be among the best.
Oh, definitely among the best. And I remember last year seeing some video of, you know, the Three Rivers Stadium and some of the things that had happened. There's the Clemente Bridge, and seeing some of the throws that Clemente made in his illustrious Hall of Fame career. And just
breathtaking.
Oh, I mean, I think guys have good arms today, and then you see that.
Saw the Clemente Bridge, and also here in Pittsburgh, the right field wall is 21 feet high. And of course, the Hall of Famer wore number 21. Robinson slaps it the other way, but right at Giles, who tied the game up with the home run. You walk around this ballpark, you'll see a statue of Pops, Wagner, and some of the all-time greats that played here in Pittsburgh. It's a beautiful park, and the skyline here at around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night is just awesome. In a lot of ways, it kind of reminds you of San Francisco configuration of the park. The big screen in the left, the water beyond right field.
Yeah, but the skyline of downtown Pittsburgh is breathtaking.
Close the book on Kile. He goes 6 innings and gives up 4 runs on 5 hits. The biggest blow coming from Giles, the 3-run home run. Struck out 5 and walked 1.
Mike Timlin continues to throw, so he will be the next Cardinal pitcher.
Mike Lincoln has done a nice job for Pittsburgh. Set down 4 straight, took over for Arroyo, who's off the hook. And Paquette sends this one into deep center. Matthews Jr. back. He can't make the play. A one-hopper off the wall. 3rd hit on the night for Paquette. This one's a double with 1 out. Just keeps going.
Danny, you said it's going to be tough to keep Craig out of the lineup once Feeney comes back. And you know, here he gets a breaking ball. He's a very good breaking ball hitter. Sometimes he will go out and expand his strike zone and get himself out. But if you throw breaking balls that are strikes, and Matthews was offline, I don't think he was going to catch up to it anyway. But if you throw strikes with breaking pitches to Craig, he usually hits it pretty hard.
Hit number 8 for St. Louis tonight. And Polanco, hard to believe, he's 0 for 3.
And remember, you got to get this lead for Kyle.
Little chopper left side, pulled foul.
We have the highest vantage point here at PNC Park from any other broadcast booth, and I don't know if the sound, it just sounds like
everything's a broken bat.
Yeah, it sounds like everything is a broken bat. So you can't, pull back, and now you'll see really how far we are. There are no seats higher than our vantage point.
It's tough to judge a ball off the bat, but everything sounds like you break a bat.
I've been shocked several times that guys aren't going back to the bat rack.
Yeah.
And
Hector Machado, an RBI single. Catcher for Chicago, and it's 2-1. They have a lead. And certainly their biggest series of the year.
Yeah, and part of what Lloyd McClendon has to find out in his staff is that a young guy like Lincoln pitches very well, trailing. But now they're getting back even, and he's the pitcher of record. There's all of a sudden his demeanor change on the mound.
Pass Polanco at no balls and 2 strikes. Nasty breaking ball, and got him looking. Boy, that's a nice pitch, and his 2nd strikeout on the evening.
appeared to be a very late breaking ball. And, you know, Polanco thought it was going to stay inside, and then the last second it dips down, and you see that framing on the inside part of the plate. Now they're going to probably go to pitching change with Drew to bring in a left-handed reliever.
Drew last time was intentionally walked against Arroyo. Also struck out looking and doubled and scored. So Mike Lincoln is done.
That Mears
is part of a double switch. We'll talk about all the changes when we come back. It'll be lefty-lefty matchup in a 4-4 game.
The fury of the NHL storms back. The Blues are ready to take their shot at the title. Pronger powers a retooled winning machine, bringing a new fire to the ice. Drop the puck. It's the season opener. Blues hockey returns against the Blue Jackets October 4th on Fox Sports Net. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net. Pound for pound, the best fighters in the world go toe-to-toe. Witness boxing fury from a ringside seat. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net. Conference action heats up. Joey Harrington powers the Oregon Charge against USC. Western Kentucky takes on Southwest Missouri State. Unbelievable! College football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, presented by King Sarah today.
4-4 game between the Cards and Pirates. A good chance here for St. Louis in the top of the 7th. 2 outs and a man on, and Drew stepping to the plate. Part of a double switch is Pat Mears, who's made 74 starts for the Pirates this season, and he'll come off the bench tonight, take over at second. He'll be due up second in their order in their half of the 7th, and the left-hander Scott Sauerbeck takes over and appearing for the 63rd time this season for Pittsburgh.
His ERA is high, but it's really been coming down of late. The Chargers just 3 runs his last 17 outings, a 1.53 ERA. 6.23 in April, 9.28 ERA in May, 3.75 in June, 7 ERA in July, 0 in August.
And he's called upon here in a tight spot. Tie game and J.D. Drew at the plate. J.D. with a hit tonight, a double. A run scored back in the first came around on Pujols' double and RBI.
Sauerbeck throws strikes. He's 56 in the 3rd innings. He's walked 73.
Against Sauerbeck, the lefty. Drew's 3 for 8. Pujols awaits the on-deck circle. Strike 2.
That's that pitch, J.D. Take it to left.
That's what he did his first time up. 1-2 the count on Drew at Paquette at second base and 2 outs. That's the kind of pitch there that he used to chase and get himself out on.
Yeah, they're going to try and obviously keep the ball away from him and keep it predominantly the sliders. Don't want to leave the slider inside to him or throw an inside fastball unless it's well off the plate.
Sauerbeck, the 3rd pitcher used by Lloyd McClendon tonight, trying to get through the 2-2 pitch. Tap foul.
Trying to pull that outside pitch. that open stance, but it's that front shoulder. So important for a pitcher to have the front shoulder not fly open. Same thing for a hitter.
Full count on J.D. Drew. Drew and Sauer back here in a 4-4 game in the 7th. J.D. sticks the bat out into shallow center, gets down for a base hit. The Cardinals have the lead back. 5-4 St. Louis on Drew's RBI base hit. RBI number 66 for J.D. Drew. Oh, he does the job.
Now you've got to make contact. Pitch out away from him and everything like that. You just kind of make contact, but you think about back up the middle.
And a moron his run onto the field here at PNC Park from one end to the other, and we're not going to show you.
Well,
why would we put that on the air?
Well, we could show him going into the grasp of a police officer. Nice find. He'll get a good night's rest. Might be a hard caught, though.
What an idiot. Here's Pujols.
Talked about it. We needed to get at least one run so Kyle would be in line for the victory.
First pitch to Albert. Here's a strike on the outside corner. Pujols has reached on an error that extended a big inning for the Cardinals in the 5th when they played at 3. Has an RBI double and flied out to left. With everything that has gone on in our country, and we have a complete idiot. That's just plain stupidity. Running on the field. One and 2 on Albert Pujols. Pirates have some action in their bullpen. Lefty is up and throwing. Pujols trying to extend the inning with 2 outs. Two and 2.
Thinking that lefty is Joe Beimel. There's a shed protecting the Cardinals relievers, and he kind of interrupts our view of the Pirate bullpen.
Struck him out. Pujols knew it. So Albert strikes out for the 3rd and final out, but Drew puts the Cards back on top. 5-4 St. Louis.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sports' biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know, Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want anyone to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net. The Pennant Drive is on Fox Sports Net. The Cardinals prepare for a slugfest in Houston. Big Mac is back on the prowl as the Cards try for a 2nd straight trip to the playoffs. Bagwell powers a devastating lineup that has led the Astros to the top of the NL Central. Series begins Monday on Fox. Sportsnet. Conference action heats up. Joey Harrington powers the Oregon Charge against USC. Western Kentucky takes on Southwest Missouri State.
Unbelievable!
College football Saturday.
Well, Cardinal fans, you can be a part of tonight's America, a tribute to heroes, and help the families and victims of the September 11th tragedy. Log on to tributetoheroes.org or call 1-866-2UNITE. You can make your donations right now. This is a 2-hour live commercial, free telecast. It's aimed at raising funds for the long-term relief effort for Americans who have directly suffered from last week's terrorist attack. So please donate if you can. 1-866-2UNITE or tributetoheroes.org. We'll be showing you that number and that graphic throughout all our breaks for the remainder of tonight's ball game. For St. Louis as we move to the bottom of the 7th, and Mike Timlin will take over for the Redbirds. They'll face the switch hitting Gary Matthews Jr. and then Mears, part of that double switch last inning. And then Chad Hermanson, who is singled in his lone at bat tonight. Timlin appearing for the 62nd time on the air.
See the numbers for Timlin, 67 innings. Nearly a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and I think by bringing him in here in the 7th inning, it kind of tells me that they feel that Beers will be back as early as tomorrow.
Right. The Cardinals got on top by the score 4-0. The Pirates tied the game back up. In the 6th inning, big blast off the bat of Brian Giles. A 3-run home run, his 35th. That made it 4-4, and the Cardinals have regained the lead in the top of the 7th with the RBI by Drew, his 66th RBI on the season, to bring in Paquette, who had doubled. And that's where we stand. It's 5-4 Redbirds, and here's Timlin to face Gary Matthews Jr. Switch hitter. It's better from the right side. He hits over 300 from the right side and just 241 coming into this game from the left side. Overall, hitting barely over 230. That one's blown by him.
I was going to say, he's probably very happy that Kyle is gone, but now maybe he's not after swinging and missing at the first one from Timlin.
He was a day late there.
Yeah, the Cardinals would have had some interest in Matthews Jr. too, who was put on waivers. We got Miguel Cairo the same time that Matthews Jr. and Cairo were put on waivers from the Cubs.
0-2, and he can't catch up with the Timlin fastball.
Yeah, he's a project, and it'd be very difficult for a contending club to keep in. That's what the Cubs kind of found out too.
Good pitch there, missed inside, 1-2.
Timlin pitched an inning last night. No hits allowed and 1 strikeout.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals up by a run here in the 7th. Trying to make it 8 straight here tonight. Swing and a miss, and Matthews Jr. strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. And that's how Mike Timlin starts his inning. We'll be the first to know the latest breaking news on the St. Louis Cardinals. Log on to STLCardinals.com, the official source for Cardinals news. STLCardinals.com. Connect with it. Log on today. Here's Pat Mears hitting for the first time tonight. Part of a double switch in the top of the 7th. Really a disappointing season for him. Getting just 216 after an outstanding campaign a year ago. A lot more expected from this young second baseman. He's on the DL for quite a while with an ankle problem in his left ankle. That sounded like a broken bat, but who knows? Where we're at, we have no idea.
All we know is a nice play by Paquette.
There's 2 away.
Timlin can get a lot of sinkers with that ground balls with his sinking fastball. Throw the ball by people. Hermanson, his second plate appearance, he got things started in the 6th.
This one he grounds fair. Paquette knocks it down, but does not have a play, and that's his second base hit on the night for Hermanson. Hit that ball very hard and just inside the line, and Paquette would have had to come up with a dandy play to make the third and final out.
Great camera work right here, and you'll see what was so difficult about it was Craig did not know if that ball was going to hit the bag or not. He comes over here getting the backhand it, but then he worried about that ball hitting the bag and what it would do. Kind of split his concentration a little bit. Look how close it comes to the bag, and then it comes up and hits him in the heel of the glove, pops out, but it would have been a very difficult play, and Hermanson really can run.
Here's Kendall, who reached on a bloop single and scored in that big 6th inning that Al talked about. Came around on the 3-run home run by Giles. It's 3 consecutive singles and then the home run.
Wouldn't be surprised if they would try and maybe put the hit and run on, or at least start the runner at first base off of Timlin.
1 ball, no strikes, and 2 outs. Here's their leadoff man. The 1-0 pitch coming. 1-1. You're wondering about Barry Bonds and his 64 home runs. He'll play later tonight against San Diego. 2 for 3 yesterday.
Timlin slow to the plate. Hermanson good speed. I mean, he doesn't know how to really use that speed yet.
Bobby Jones will make the start, by the way, for San Diego tonight. He's trying to avoid being a 20-game loser. He's 8-18. Timlin's done a good job using both sides of the plate against Kendall. In and out. 1-2 the count with 2 outs and a man at first.
I was shocked when I saw that Hermanson has not even attempted a steal this year.
It's been part of the time at AAA. Timlin a long look, and now time is called.
He stole 21 bases in the minor leagues, 16 last year.
The 1-2 from Timlin. Over the head of Polanco and into center. Edmonds will just get it back in. And with a 1-run lead, the Pirates have a chance to tie it back up or take the lead. It's 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Kendall, his second hit on the night.
I think Timlin was so preoccupied with the runner at first that it really didn't put 100% concentration to Kendall. And Kendall's one of those kind of hitters that anything he can reach is fair game. And that ball just got over the head of Polanco at second, but we used to have a catcher here that was a notorious bad ball hitter, Manny Sanguillen.
One of your favorites, right?
Oh, great guy. I mean, but best way to pitch him is right down the middle. He's confused himself.
It's up to the shortstop, Jack Wilson.
Yeah, and he used about a 48-ounce bat, almost 50 inches long.
How could he get around on anything?
Oh, men were strong back then.
Of course they were. You're always going to say that.
No. pick up the bats that Dick Allen would use and guys like that. You know, now they start using bats are not all made of white ash. But Bob Watson said at one time he had a hickory bat made for him. And he said the lightest they could make it was 54 ounces. There's Manny Sanguin on your right with a big smile, perpetual smile from Sanguin.
Timlin trying to get Wilson here. Former Cardinal farmhand, 1 ball, 1 strike. He's hit the ball hard tonight, all 3 times. And he just tied the game up here. Drew cuts it off. What a play by JD just to get to that ball and keeps it a tie ball game at 5-5. It could have been much worse, but JD Drew got a good jump in right and cut it off in the gap and saves 1 more run. What's a nice play by JD, and Wilson has his 2nd hit on the night and an RBI to tie it up.
Boy, pitch just right up out over the middle of the plate. You know, not in or out, what we were talking about earlier. There's what you're talking about. That good foot speed, reaches out. Kendall has the play in front of him. Never looks at his third base coach until he comes into the bag at third.
Wilson is 2nd RBI. And after Timlin got a strikeout and a ground out, a base hit, and another base hit.
Like Steve Klein will be coming into this game.
Try to keep it a tie ball game. Klein will come in to face a left-handed hitting Giles, who has already homered tonight for the 35th time. So Timlin cannot hold the lead. 5-5 here in the 7th.
Good.
Take it in, take it in.
Isn't your son on the team?
Yeah, starting center.
My daughter's a cheerleader. She's the 3rd one from the left.
She's pretty light on her feet for a fat girl. Yeah, to the hoop. Yes.
The Last Word with Jim Rome. The only sports commentary that's truly brutally honest. Weeknights at 11 on Fox Sports Net.
Every day, young lives, promising lives, are snuffed out by guns and violence. Too often, people just don't understand the pain of taking a life until it's much too late. If you've ever thought about using a weapon against anyone, please stop and think. Think about what you may be doing and whose life you may be destroying. Let's stop the madness. Guns and violence destroy lives, starting with your own.
Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net. Pound for pound, the best fighters in the world go toe-to-toe. Witness boxing fury from a ringside seat. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net.
Well, you can be a part of tonight's America Tribute to Heroes and help the families and victims of the September 11th tragedy. Log on to tributetoheroes.org or call 1-866-2UNITE. Make your donations now. We'll be showing you this graphic throughout the evening as we come back from each of our breaks. This is a 2-hour live commercial-free telecast. It's aimed at raising funds for the long-term relief effort for Americans who have directly suffered from last week's terrorist attack. Tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2UNITE, and please donate. Well, Dave Duncan cannot be happy with what he saw from Mike Timlin. So now they'll turn it over to Steve Klein for the 82nd time this season.
3rd consecutive year. He's been over 80 games. Last year he had a career high 83. This one's 82nd. See, 49 hits allowed in 69 innings, 27 walks, 52 strikeouts. That 1 home run was to a right-handed batter, Jimmy Rollins, in the state of Pennsylvania.
A memorable home run at that.
Memorable home run, but he has not allowed one to a lefty this year.
So Kendall is at 3rd. Jack Wilson at 2nd. after the RBI off of Timlin, and here's Giles. 1 for 3 with a 3-run home run. 88 RBIs and a chance to put the Pirates on top for the first time tonight. First pitch to him is a ball outside from Klein. Let's take you back to that big inning for the Pirates in which they played it 4 and 3-on-1 swing of the bat from Brian Giles, the All-Star. Next pitch to him, a strike, a good slider from Klein. 1-1.
Sure, Kyle wanted that ball that he served up either in or out, but not in the middle of the plate.
Second and third with 2 outs. Boy, that's nasty stuff there from Klein.
There's your good slider. The leaf ERA just trails Octavio Del Cal of Houston. So a pair of right-handers and Klein in the middle.
The 1-2 to Giles. Ripped, and what a play by big Mark McGwire. Saves a couple of runs and keeps it tied at 5-5. We'll go to the 8th. Edmonds, McGwire, and Renteria due up for St. Louis. Some big guns coming up. It's 5-5.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. Comedy.
My answer is yes, and crutch that.
Commentary.
If it wasn't for him, baseball would be in the toilet right now.
Updated scores and highlights.
Lisa Guerrero is hot.
The show that takes you places no other dares to go. Join Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of opinionated ex-jocks. What more could you want from a sports show?
I think Porky Pig would agree.
The best damn sports show, period. Premieres Monday at 7:30 and 11:30.
The Midwest Sports Report.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's the nightly newscast you've been waiting for.
This is the real deal.
30 minutes every night dedicated to scores, highlights, and interviews from your hometown teams.
We told you it was going to be good.
Your teams, your town, your show. The Midwest Sports Report, nightly at 10 on Fox Sports Net. NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price that would shape his life forever. Beyond the Glory. Tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Cardinal fans, you can be a part of tonight's America Tribute to Heroes once again and help out the families from the tragedy a week and a half ago. At tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2-UNITE, the phone number to call to make your donations now. This 2-hour live commercial free telecast is aimed at raising funds for the long-term relief effort for Americans who have directly suffered from this terrorist attack. So please donate. And we'll be giving you that number and address to log on and help out all those folks that have been directly hit. Here's Edmonds. We're in the 8th. Brand new game again. It's 5-5. Scott Sauerbeck stays in the game. The lefty for Pittsburgh came in with 2 outs. Drew at the plate in the 7th and a man at second.
Jimmy trying to get in the way of the home plate umpire because he's hearing cat calls from the dugout.
One ball, 1 strike on Edmonds. Jim tonight is 0 for 3 with a ground out, 2 strikeouts. Waits on that pitch and flies out to left. 1 away. That'll bring in Mark McGwire, who's made a difference tonight with his defense. He's part of our Pennzoil protection play of the game, and Mark McGwire saving 2 runs on this diving stop off the bat of Giles. The bottom of last inning. What a play here by McGwire. Saves 2 runs and kept it a 5-5 game. our Pennzoil protection play of the game. That's going to be it for the lefty Sauerbeck. And Lloyd McClendon will use his bullpen once again. Sauerbeck, 2/3 of an inning. And gives up a hit.
Mike Fetters,
one of Al's favorites. You'll see why when we come back.
The fury of the NHL storms back. The Blues are ready to take their shot at the title. Pronger powers a retooled winning machine, bringing a new fire to the ice. Drop the puck. It's the season opener. Blues hockey returns against the Blue Jackets October 4th on Fox Sports Net.
Don't worry, they'll be here soon.
I can't wait to meet this Tracy Coleman.
Kevin says she could be the one.
Mom, Dad, meet Tracy.
Oh. I was expecting someone pretty.
Yeah.
The Last Word with Jim Rome. The only sports commentary that's truly brutally honest. Weeknights at 11 on Fox Sports Net.
Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net. Pound for pound, the best fighters in the world go toe-to-toe. Witness boxing fury from a ringside seat. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net.
Well, again, if you would like to contribute and donate, log on to tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2UNITE to donate money to the families that have been affected by last week's terrorist attack. 1-866-2UNITE or tributetoheroes.org. 5-5 game. Here's Mark McGwire, nobody on and one away. And new pitcher in is Mike Fetters, who was last seen with the LA Dodgers but came over in a trade. And McGwire gets under this one, pops it up. Foul ground. A play can be made. There's 2 away. And Big Mac is 0 for 4. Fetters has picked up 6 saves and 7 opportunity in his 15 appearances with the Pirates. He has 97 big league saves. Acquired from the Dodgers along with a left-handed pitcher, Adrian Burnside, for lefty Terry Mulholland. But as of late, Fetters has really been struggling. Surrendered 3 runs in the 9th, lost to the Mets Monday night, and he's allowed at least 1 base runner in 13 of his 15 games with the Buccos. Hasn't been pretty for Mike. There's a shot off the bat of Renteria with 2 outs. Giles cuts it off. No, he can't get to it. Renteria digging for second. Thinking about 3. He's on his way, and he is safe. A triple for the Redbirds shortstop.
Boy, tough decision right there, and he got away with it. You don't want to make the first or the third out at third base. And hit this ball very hard. Gets by Giles, then he has to track it down. Renteria had that ball in front of him, so he made the decision. See, it's right in front of him. You can see it's got by Giles, and he made the decision all on his own to go to third, and he got away with it. 11 seconds from home to third.
And here's Matheny. Remember, Marrero is not with the club, so if you're thinking about pinch hitting.
If you had Marrero here, you might pinch hit for Mike. You do have McDonald. Mike Fetters.
That's your favorite move, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I probably hurt my neck looking at that.
Right back to the pitcher. Fetters. A flip to first to Young, and the Cardinals are done, and they're half of the 8th. They've left 6 on the night. We'll go to the bottom half. It's 5-5.
Conference action heats up. Joey Harrington powers the Oregon Charge against USC. Western Kentucky takes on Southwest Missouri State.
Unbelievable!
College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net, presented by Team Sarah today.
From America's #1 personal trainer, Tony Little, comes the country's most exciting way to lose weight, the revolutionary Gazelle Freestyle. 10 cardio, strength training, and stretching moves in one fun-filled, calorie-burning workout with almost zero impact.
I've lost 32 pounds in 7 months. Being over 300 pounds, it helped me lose over 200.
The Gazelle Freestyle has worked for these people and many more. Now you can try the Gazelle Freestyle before you buy. At home for 30 days for just $14.95 plus shipping and handling. Complete with onboard heart rate monitor and Tony Little's exclusive one-on-one personal trainer video.
Use the system for 30 days. If you don't fall in love with it, if you don't get results from it, if you don't like me, send it back.
This sensational Gazelle Freestyle $14.95 trial offer won't last long, so don't miss out. Call right now.
Call now to order a Gazelle Freestyle to try in your own home for just $14.95 plus shipping and handling.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
America Tribute to Heroes is taking place right now, and you can help contribute. Log on to tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2UNITE. Donations will go to the Americans who have directly suffered from last week's terrorist attack.
The first batter for the Pirates will be third baseman.
This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Advanced Auto. The best part is our people.
For the Cardinals,
the boss
now pitching and batting
the PA system here. Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA, and the fans getting up to applaud for that. They vote on the music here, and they love it. Many of them standing with their American flags here at PNC Park. The tragedy here in Pennsylvania, by the way, only about 60 miles away from Pittsburgh. Luther Hackman, the right-hander, is in for the 29th time this season.
0-2, but he's the pitcher of record now, so he got a chance to pick up his first win of the season. He has pitched last Tuesday, so this will be his second outing since play has been resumed.
Bottom of the 8th. Here's Ramirez to lead things off for the Pirates. Crowd enjoyed that. They had it blaring on the speakers here.
Absolutely. It was born in the USA, outpolled La Bamba, and what was the other one?
Will Smith.
And Will Smith. I think they made the right selection.
Yes. So here's Hackman. Fourth pitcher used by the Cardinals tonight. We saw Klein for the 82nd time here tonight. He got his man. That was Giles after a line drive that McGuire caught. Saved a couple of runs last inning. Kept it 5-5. And Ramirez pulls that foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Third baseman is 1 for 3 tonight. It's grounded out to short, base hit up the middle, and also fly to left. He looks like a different player, doesn't he? Because he is pretty much.
Yeah, he's a confident one now. You know what else? He looks like he has slimmed down a little bit.
I was going to say that too. Looks in better shape for sure.
Much better shape.
Pirates have some action in their bullpen. Al's back. 2-2. Now, did you talk to Mike Fetters about his move?
No, I did not.
But you did talk to him today, right?
No, it was the night we came in. Mike came over to the hotel and was waiting for Bonilla.
You had a little better frame than old Mike.
Thank you.
And also, when you would stare in and do your different routine. You didn't have an ERA that was over 6.
No, and I didn't snap my neck.
No. Full count. And a strikeout for Luther Hackman. Well, this Saturday, it's the premiere of College Football Saturday, presented by Kyocera. And the Virginia Cavaliers will take on the 22nd ranked Wisconsin Badgers in the Eddie Robinson Classic, live from Camp Randall Stadium. Also USC and Oregon. College Football Saturday this weekend. Here's Kevin Young. Young has had a disappointing year in his second tour of duty with the Pirates. Quickly 0-2. And Hackman's in there pumping. That last one registered 93 miles per hour. I think sometimes people forget he was the lost man in that trade to get Kile and Veers, and all of a sudden you look at that trade that Walt Jocketty has pulled off, not only to get a 20-game winner from last year, to get a closer that does a good job, is very serviceable, but now you have a 26-year-old that's pumping in the mid-90s and really establishing himself in this bullpen, and that's Luther Hackman.
Yeah, of course, Walt knew about Luther because he had been in the front office with the Colorado Rockies.
But I like his stuff, don't you?
Sure you do. And you like his size, his youth, and now that he's had a little bit of medical attention to an ailing elbow, probably good for another 50,000 miles.
There you go.
Dave Duncan was along with Matheny to come out and talk to Craig Wilson. Will pinch hit here, the pitcher spot. This guy has 6 pinch hit home runs, so I'm sure that's what they're talking about.
So Wilson will pinch hit with 2 outs and nobody on here in the 8th. A 5-5 game between the Cards and Pirates. He's hitting .367 in his last 12 games with 2 homers and 7 RBIs. It's a club record, by the way, those 6 home runs as a pinch hitter, 1 shy of the Major League record. Dave Hansen did it back in 2000 with 7.
McClendon knew a little bit about pinch hitting.
Last year with the Pirates was in '95, I believe. 4 or 5 seasons here in Pittsburgh.
Lloyd has been a tough season for him, but injuries have been a major factor. One thing he was telling me, he said, I'm just so thankful that I've had Bill Verdon as my bench coach. And Bill, whether he's crazy or not, is coming back.
Steve Blass even talked about that, Pirates broadcaster, on our pregame show. What Verdon has been to Lloyd McClendon, who came up in 1987 with the Cincinnati Reds. An outfielder in his playing days. Wilson, a high drive, left center field, the deepest part of the park, and it holds it in. About 4:05 away, and Pujols brought it in. It's 5-5.
Takes you into the lives of sport's biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know, Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Midwest Sports Tonight covers your hometown sports scene like no one else. Exclusive interviews, in-depth analysis, and stories that take you inside the game. Midwest Sports Tonight, weeknights at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net.
The Pennant Drive is on Fox Sports Net. The Cardinals prepare for a slugfest in Houston. Big Mac is back on the prowl as the Cards try for a second straight trip to the playoffs. Bagwell powers a devastating lineup that has led the Astros to the top of the NL Central. Series begins Monday on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Fox is a part of this, and we hope you are as well. You can be a part of tonight's America, a tribute to heroes, and help the families and victims of the tragedy on September 11th. Log on to tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2-UNITE. And the long-term relief effort for Americans who have directly suffered from last week's terrorist attack. So please donate what you can and help out. Tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2-UNITE. PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As we mentioned before, one of the tragedies happened just 60 miles away here from downtown Pittsburgh. New pitcher is in for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Familiar face, Omar Olivares, will come in. He'll be the 5th pitcher used by Lloyd McClendon here tonight.
Made 12 starts amongst his 41 previous appearances. Gave up 2 homers and a blown save on the loss Tuesday night, but he has had a 2.53 ERA in his last 15 games. Good power sinker, slider, and Miguel Cairo will be the first man he faces.
And a good hitter, Olivares.
Yeah, Omar is
swinging the bat. Cairo, his first action here tonight, off the bench. And he looks at a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Last time we saw Omar, he made a start against the Cardinals here in that last series at PNC Park. He went 5 innings and he struck out something like 8 or 9, but left down by 5 or 6 runs. Not the best look of Miguel Cairo here at PNC Park, the Jumbotron upside down.
Well, let's show him you don't appreciate that. Put a hole in it. That'd be a pretty good blast, wouldn't it? Oof.
Three balls, 1 strike on Miguel Cairo. Full count. Up the middle. That's a base hit for Miguel Cairo, and that's how we start the 9th inning. Hit number 11 on the night for St. Louis. You know what's coming up, Al?
Sure do.
It's the best damn sports show, period. Coming up on Fox Sports Net. It premieres Monday at 7:30. The best damn sports show, period. Monday, only here. Only here will you find Tom Arnold talking about, I can't wait.
John Kruk.
Whoa.
Tom Arnold.
7:30 Monday.
You better watch out. Joe and Jack Buck were on it the other night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Here's Paquette. He's had a big night. 3 hits, a double, 2 singles. He's flied to center.
Wow.
That one was close.
Little too close. Well, we talked about Olivares being a good hitter, but he's an exceptional athlete. Very quick feet, and that's a real key if you're going to try and pick off guys. You got to have those quick feet. And you almost try to get them when they're making that one false step towards second. He's leaning.
Not going. Paquette gets down the bunt. Young's only play is to the second baseman covering. That's Mears moving up Kile to second, and a good job by Paquette. He's done a nice job in that first spot in the order tonight. 3 hits and then moving up the runner here.
Well, right there, that might be the most important. Even though he has those 3 hits, he scored 2 runs and an RBI. But maybe here was setting up the winning rally. And just perfectly placed. Look at that. I mean, textbook, a ball up. It's hard to get on top of it, but yet with a good form, it was outstanding.
That's his 3rd sacrifice bunt this season. And let's see what Polanco can do here. 0 for 4. How many times have we said that this season? Not many. And among the NL leaders in batting against left-handers, multi-hit games, and batting average. And he looks at his strike.
They had another 3-hit game last night, so maybe the magic is just one tonight.
7, 8, and 9 in the order due up for the Pirates in their half of the ninth. Kile is the go-ahead run. He stands at second. The 0-1 pitch coming to Placido Polanco. Polanco is saying it hit me. The umpire is saying it hit the bat. He's going to try to prove it. That home plate umpire is Eric Cooper. Here comes Tony La Russa.
Well, obviously Eric Cooper doesn't believe it, but you also know Polanco's not going to lie. And this ball coming in there,
that hit him
on the right arm. It's the back arm,
right forearm or elbow. Right.
And you see, it's not the bat, it's coming right off the red sleeve.
Let's take a listen to it.
Well, you can hear it, but you would have to believe it would be a lot more distinct and crisper sounding if it hit the wood.
Instead, he's in the hole 0-2. Olivares was with the A's last season. Remember, a couple of years ago, combined with Oakland and Anaheim, he had 15 wins. But last year, he was just 4-8. And this year now coming out of the bullpen after making some starts for the Pirates.
See, 34 now. Yeah, nice long career. Good power sinker, still got pretty good velocity.
Came up with the Cardinals in 1990.
We got him from San Diego.
Right.
What was involved in that deal? Probably a minor deal?
Yeah. The 90 was his first year in the big leagues. He spent 4 seasons with the Cardinals. Polanco trying to make him pay, and he does. Kile, though, had to wait. He was in between second and third. Wasn't sure if that ball was going to be caught. So Polanco reaches on an 0-2 pitch. And Miguel Kile is caught in no man's land. He had to stop between second and third. He wasn't sure if that ball was going to be caught by Mears. It wasn't. And now it's up to J.D. Drew.
Yeah, it's a proper base running by Kile because he would have looked awful silly getting doubled up on a line drive. So you hold your ground, and you just have to, just accept the fact. And it is better. He's still containing being hit, and we thought he was. But I think he'll take the base hit over it, and he also moved the lead runner 90 feet further.
Now the Cardinals have action in their bullpen. No 0 for Polanco. He's 1 for 5 on the night. Here's J.D. Drew, who gave the Cardinals a regained lead back in the 7th. A little bloop hit off a Sauerbeck. The drive in a run to make it 5-4. Pittsburgh tied it up 5-5. J.D. trying to do it again.
Bottom line is you've got to win these games. It doesn't matter who the hero is.
Drew had a bunt single, RBI, and stolen base last night. 2 for 3 on Tuesday night against Milwaukee, and here tonight a double and a single with an RBI. He's also scored a run. Don't forget, he made a nice play in right to cut off a ball from going into the gap and saving a run. A couple of good plays in that inning.
Okay.
One by Drew.
I won't forget it.
And the other by Mark McGuire. A diving stop. First and third. And a 2-0 count on Drew. 3-0. With the bases loaded possibly for Pujols. Teams that win divisions or get into postseason play have to beat up on teams like the Pirates, and the Cardinals have done so this season. They're 9-2 against the Pirates. Trying to change that to double figures here tonight. 3-0. Will they turn JD loose? Looks at one right down the middle. Cairo at third. Polanco is at first. A 5-5 game here in the ninth. Bagwell a 2-run single, and the Astros have taken a 1-run lead. Cardinals are near the edge of their dugout, watching anxiously as this game is unfolding here in the ninth. The 3-1 to Drew. Bases loaded, and here comes Albert Pujols. Pujols already has an RBI tonight, an RBI double to up his RBI total in that department to 121. That was back in the first inning. He's flying to left, reached on an error to extend a big inning in the fifth, and struck out looking back in the seventh to end that inning.
Ben Williams, the pitching coach, come out and talk to Omar. Remember, his sinker ball pitcher, and you have Cardinals Triple Crown leader at home plate, but slow of foot. So if he gets a ground ball, they have a good shot of turning two.
Bases loaded. Cairo, Polanco, and Drew on the base pass. Good speed.
Pujols for getting a little bit of information from Jim Edmonds. And Edmonds would be a good one to talk to because he played with Omar with the Angels.
Right. About the only thing Pujols hasn't done this season is a grand slam.
Yet.
That's the operative word. He has come up with big hit after big hit, big RBI after big RBI. 19-game winning RBIs on the year. Bases loaded. One out in the first pitch to Pujols, way outside.
The other thing with a guy like Omar, gets a lot of movement on his pitches, but you can also, if you're patient, you can make him throw a lot of balls. Get behind the count, waiting for him to elevate it, a sinker.
The 1-0 pitch to Pujols, fouled away. Talking about a lot of people considering Jeff Bagwell now for MVP consideration. He has a 2-run single to take the lead for Houston against Olivares. He's 3 for 4 with a home run. How about Pujols if he can do some damage here, win another big game for the Cardinals?
Well, I think that is a statistic that speaks volumes.
1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out and the bases loaded. Albert a shot into left. That might be his grand slam, and it is. 5 RBIs on the night. His first career grand slam, and what a big one here. He is just awesome. It matches his career high in RBIs that he just set this past week. Grand slam, Albert Pujols.
And now he has the rookie record for extra base hits all by himself. Goodbye, Johnny Frederick. Brooklyn, 1929. There it is. Sinker, but this guy, a low ball hitter, and he elevates it. Hits it and elevates it, and that could be volumes and a lot of votes in that MVP race.
He's right in the thick of things. He's got to be. I don't know how you could look at a ballot and not consider him anymore. Before, you're talking 3 weeks ago, this is before his series against San Diego, before the 9 RBIs against Milwaukee, before tonight. I could see people looking at Bonds and Sosa and not considering Pujols because he is a rookie and the numbers weren't quite there. But after now, you have to look at it.
And Danny,
I mean, this is the most prolific rookie campaign you may ever see.
Well, I said it is obviously the Cardinals' greatest rookie season, and now it is one of baseball's all-time best. Another aspect, too, is there is precedent. Freddie Lynn in '75, I know, won the rookie and MVP of the American League for the Boston Red Sox. Ball's down, and look at that stroke. No doubt about it.
23 RBIs since September 1st. Here's Mark McGwire.
There you see just a magnificent, majestic shot.
I'd be curious to know what Mark McGwire had to say to Albert Pujols when he crossed the plate and Big Mac was waiting on deck and he kind of pulled him aside. Did you see that, Al?
No, I didn't, but
patted him on the helmet and kind of whispered something to him.
Well, I think he's saying, come on, I've got the major league record for rookie home runs. You still got a little bit of ways to go to get the National League record.
And it's been well documented, but Bobby Bonilla does not hurt his hamstring in spring training. 36 home runs, 126 RBIs, and over a .330 average are not seen by Albert Pujols.
Thank you, Bobby.
My goodness. McGwire strikes out. Pujols, his first career grand slam, a huge one, 9-5.
What can I get you guys?
I'll have the Spanish omelet and some hash browns.
I'll come back.
NFL This Morning. It's the pregame show that's not really a pregame show. Tomorrow at 9:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sports' biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr. was trained by his father to become the greatest fighter of his era.
Champion of the world!
But his greatness came with a price.
His father came in and said, I want you to know Roy and I have broken up.
You didn't want anyone to see him cry. He was too much of a tough guy for that.
Roy Jones Jr. Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Every day, young lives, promising lives, are snuffed out by guns and violence. Too often, people just don't understand the pain of taking a life until it's much too late. If you've ever thought about using a weapon against anyone, please stop and think. Think about what you may be doing and whose life you may be destroying. Let's stop the madness. Guns and violence destroy lives, starting with your own.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Well, folks, you can be a part of tonight's America, a tribute to heroes, and help the families and victims of the tragedy on September 11th. Log on to tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2UNITE. This goes directly to the long-term effort, relief effort for Americans who have suffered from last week's horrible terrorist attack. Tributetoheroes.org or 1-866-2UNITE. Please donate what you can. Albert Pujols is the Rookie of the Year without question. Now the question is he the MVP? He's making a strong case for it. 5 RBIs tonight, 125 on the year, 35 home runs. We're watching, as we said before, one of the greatest rookie campaigns in the history of Major League Baseball. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Budweiser, who salutes America's designated drivers. We all make a difference. Budweiser. Anybody even close that you played with have anything even remotely close to what Pujols has done?
Oh, absolutely not.
And can you think of any department that anybody was even close? Maybe the home runs, stolen bases, anything.
No, because 30 home runs is what 50 is today.
Here's Gary Matthews Jr. to face Gene Steckschulte. 9-5 Redbirds. Think about magical moments in a season when you go to postseason play. If the Cardinals make it, that's one of them. Albert Pujols grand slam in the 9th.
Well, you're the one that got on him for not having one.
Said that's the only thing he hasn't done, and he solved that right away. He shut me up. That's hard to do. Matthews has struck out 3 times.
Yeah, but it wasn't until after a nice call.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder what our Bud Light play of the game is.
When J.D. Drew cut off that possible gapper.
Well, that could be several, but I bet I know.
McGuire's run-saving catch off of the bat of Giles.
Yeah, that was our Pennzoil protection play.
Oh, you're right. We've already had our Pizza Hut perfect delivery, and we're awaiting our play of the game brought to you by Bud Light.
The golden sombrero.
4 strikeouts for Gary Matthews Jr. Well, it's our Bud Light play of the game. For the great taste, it won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
Oh, guess what? And with a monstrous thirst that the guys in the truck have, it's the Pujols grand slam.
What a shot.
What a shocker right there. That could be his 20th game-winning RBI.
5 RBIs, a grand slam, a double. What a night. How many total bases here tonight again? 6 now. That's something that's been overlooked. So he's closing in on that mark.
Closing in on Dick Allen's rookie mark.
Tom Mee has been our producer tonight. See you later. Good job by Steckschulte.
You don't think he's pumped up?
Tom McLaughlin, our director. Doug Stanton on graphics. Lindsey Polite, our pregame show producer, also works during the game and does a great job on many of the highlights that you see come your way, and our great crew here in Pittsburgh. Well, it's up to Chad Hermanson to extend this game. Steckschulte's done a nice job. Stephanie Gabos and Pat Paris are standing by the Fox Network Center with a look at the Midwest Sports Report following the conclusion of this one. Bernie Miklasz is on the talkback segment. Fox Focus on the Red Wings. Of course, you'll see some of the highlights from this game here tonight and a complete recap. Boy, he's got good stuff tonight.
Well, you're pumped up. I'm telling you, Ken, you get into these kind of games, and those guys sitting out in the bullpen, they get caught up in the emotions, and then they have something to say about the outcome when they come into the game. They want to be on the mound, those handshakes.
Pirates are down to their final strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th and a 9-5 St. Louis lead. Cardinals led at one point 4-0. Then it was 4-4. Then it was 5-4. Then 5-5. And now 9-5 St. Louis. The 2-2. Off the end of the bat, little looper, and Pujols coming on. Why doesn't he make the final play? He's done everything else, and that's another Cardinal victory for St. Louis. 84-64, 20 games above the 500 mark, and the Cardinals just keep on rolling. 8 straight wins for St. Louis. 5 RBIs on the night for that man, Albert Pujols.
Well, it's a team effort. You know, you wanted to see Kyle get the win, but Hackman gets his first one. Another big game-winning RBI, the 20th of the year for Pujols.
For Al, I'm Dan. Thanks for being with us.